Hey everybody, welcome back to our continuing coverage of the 2015 Military Bowling Championships. Check out this motley crew. I'm Randy Pedersen. To my right is Wes Pye. To my left, Mike Flanagan. Guys, it's always a pleasure to be able to work with you in the booth. We've got some great bowling in store for us today. We've seen some great bowling already unfold. This morning we had 2 300 games, lots of strikes, lots of high scores. But I think the main message in this event is camaraderie, friends, and family.
Absolutely, positively, absolute.
100%, brother. And we saw a lot of high scores this morning. Wes was here the last couple of days. House pattern, high scores, third look at it. And I know of one team earlier today where a guy shot 1080 and 980 together.
That's very strong.
Four games.
It's a house pattern, 42 feet in length. It's very conducive to high scores and a lot of strikes. And you know, these folks can bowl. They're good bowlers.
Yes, they are. I mean, earlier we've always noticed this first game. We've had at least 1 or 2 people with the first 9 or 10 taking a run. So it's kind of interesting that right off the transition, right off the fresh pattern with just a little bit of practice, you know, the strikes start, then the pace seems to settle a little bit, and then game 3 and 4 take off like a rocket ship.
You know, Mike, having Wes in the booth is kind of like watching golf. He's got that accent, you know when they bring those Australian analysts in.
My inner Ian Baker Finch.
Yeah, you're like the South Carolina version of Ian Baker Finch. It's great.
That's it. The old ball coach, a little Spurrier there in me, you know.
There you go. I could try to drop a couple of Australian flavored accents in there for you if you'd like.
There you go. Yeah, it's been pretty interesting being able to, and you know, Mike's done a great job going down and getting a lot of the human interest stories of the people that are here with us that are bowling, the military personnel. And this is like a reunion for many of them. You know, earlier this week, we had a gentleman named Stoney, 81 years young. He's been coming to this event since 1975.
We watched him.
Yeah.
He was right in front of us.
Good guy. And, you know, we met a munitions expert yesterday that basically said, well, hey, if you've seen the movie The Hurt Locker, that's what I do. And let me tell you, that guy threw the ball like, and when it hit the pins, it was like a bomb going off. This guy was great. And that was
last name is Johnson. I think it was not Randy. It was Rodney Johnson,
yes,
I believe.
Yes.
And he came up and thanked us for the coverage today. He bowled down on the high end the last set. And I believe he had 1,000 even, 1,002, and like 919 to finish out his all events.
And guys, don't we have a little history unfolding right in front of us here on 19 and 20? Mike, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, big story here. The 6 ladies bowling on 19 and 20 are the very first assembled all-ladies team in this event.
Wow.
And they bowled team event back on Monday, and they were way down on the end where we couldn't cover them. But today, we made an arrangement to switch the pairing so they would be on our featured pair, lanes 19 and 20, and we'll continue to watch them throughout these 4 games. Really cool, all the ladies bowling together. And it's a shame because they were all in matching team shirts on team day. And because of where everybody was shook out in the lineup, we didn't get a chance to cover that. But we do have some airtime for them today, and they're excited to be on the camera.
And guys, let's face it, they make the broadcast look a whole lot better.
Not a doubt about that.
That is for sure.
They take the Q. What is it? The Q rating is what you TV guys say.
The Q rating.
The more attractive folks or what have you.
Well, it definitely helps the Nielsen ratings. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what do they call it. Q ratings?
Oh,
Maybe they do.
Oh.
Heck, I don't know. I just talk for a living. Now we've covered a lot of things today, Mike and I. We've talked about our favorite war movies of all time. We've talked about, you know,
Deflategate. I was tuned in a little bit, trying to catch up and keep up with you guys a little bit.
You know, one of the movies I forgot to mention was Enemies at the Gate. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a sniper movie during the Cold War. Mm-hmm. Every shot's a headshot in the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What's the actor's name that plays in it? Jude Law.
I know of Enemy of the State with Will Smith.
And
No,
Hackman.
this is Enemies at the Gate. Mm-hmm. Jude Law and what was the guy's name that played in the movie The Abyss? You know, God, I can see his face right here, and I can't remember his name.
Not Liam Neeson.
No.
I just wanted to say Liam Neeson.
Somebody, if you're watching out there listening in, type in on our live blog there so you can help Randy out. I can't remember that guy's name. But anyway, So, yeah, we've covered everything. In fact, we even talked about if you were in a rock and roll band, what position in that band would you play?
Oh,
and Randy started all this, by the way, because we had a lot of music stuff the last few days, and I just wanted to preface that I did not bait him for this. He came up with it all on his own, just to show that he's really part of our team.
Well, you got to be ready for the references. So, they'll be coming out of left field here later in the day as this goes on.
Yeah, and it happened. So, he said he wanted to be the lead singer from, I think, Blink 182 or something.
Right. Or Bono.
Or Bono. No, he said Bono. That was it. I said I would want to be Robert Plant.
Okay. Don Henley.
Don Henley. Interesting.
Drummer comes out front. I
Interesting.
like some of the lyrics, some of the stories he's told in the Eagles songs.
Interesting.
He and Glenn Fry.
Can he sing The Boys of Summer?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
That was like his second big single. I mean, huge
one of
single.
my favorite songs of all time. That and I Love L.A. are a couple of baseball songs I love to hear.
That would be Randy Newman.
You said Newman.
Isn't that his name?
It is.
All right. Lots of action in store here for the next three plus hours.
And don't forget, I'll be going around in about the 8th frame, capturing all of the strikes from lanes 3 through 32.
Thanks from Kimmy Bissett. It's Ed Harris. How can you forget Ed Harris?
You can't.
Now, he played the German sniper, and Jude Law played the Russian sniper.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell you who won at the end, but it's a must-see. It's a great movie.
Hey, Tamara here's got a double to start, and this is the young lady that was ready to be on the camera pair.
You better, you're going to have to go down there with, I call it RoboCam.
Yes.
Our roving camera. I call it RoboCam, and it gives us some great pictures. And I actually went down and worked it a bit. Mike's been great with it, following the scores and whatnot. So, yeah, RoboCam is really cool.
And he's going to work on some longer legs on RoboCam so he can have a little more range.
Yeah, we need to get. How do you do that, Mike? So we can cover more ground.
I don't know. It's $1,000 part, basically, that transmits the signal for us into this apparatus that's been devised by Brian Burkhart. I don't know how we get a stronger signal. I really don't.
Hey, Wes has got $1,000 in his pocket. Hey, Wes.
I'll just peel it right out for you.
Fork it over.
No worries.
Wes, we're counting on you to carry this broadcast today. Randy and I are a little on the tired side, just letting you know.
Well, I appreciate you letting me be a little tardy today. And
letting you. That's my favorite thing is someone's not feeling well or they've got other duties they have to attend to, and everybody's just always so respectful and like, hey, really left you hanging, sorry about that. And I love that about everybody, that you guys are always so concerned about me. I appreciate it.
So, hey, just so you know, right now we're in the 11th hour. And we're a little frosty.
It's kind of like the Jerry Lewis telethons of the days gone by.
Yeah.
You got to have that Mel Torme step in there to kind of,
Jerry was always allowed to go off stage for a couple hours and take a nap. Now,
exactly.
I just want you to know that right now English is my second language.
I got you. Understood.
Okay? All right.
Gotcha.
Hey, Randy, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about internet shows and things like that. When I get home, part of my homework assignment, 'cause I don't think I'm going much anywhere for too much. I'm going to the TOC, but I'm not going to be traveling before then. I'm going to fire up this equipment, and I'm going to figure out some things with putting in Skype and some other things. But I was thinking one day, in the next 2 years, I would like for you and I to do a marathon show where we start on like a Friday or something, or we pick whatever day, and we don't know when we're going off the air. But we have to go at least 48 hours.
There was a guy that did that similar in Denver. He was a news reporter, and he got up on top of a billboard, and he said, "I'm not coming down until the Broncos win." And I think he was up there for like 38 days in the dead of winter. The guy got, what a trooper, right? This guy goes, and he would report from up there, and he would do everything from up on top of this billboard, braving the elements. I mean, this guy, but I'm going to tell you something right now. There's no way I'm doing a webcast for 38 days. You just can't do it.
Up in the crow's nest somewhere with a bunch of snow and high altitude.
That's what this guy did.
Wow.
Could you imagine that, though? Because I'd Skype in guests, and we get Wes in for a while, and we'd just do all these different things.
And then when nobody's Skyping in, we could catch some Z's.
Yeah, we just
right. And then as soon as somebody Skypes in, some kind of alarm goes off.
You just play the endless loop of you guys doing that.
Right. You're
gonna have the talking head thing going on.
We got like bunk beds in the back, and it's like straight out of Step Brothers. You know, they collapse. I collapse right on top of Mike.
Yeah.
We've got so much more room for activities.
Yeah. Have you had Mike Kaufman over?
No,
we haven't Mike Kaufman over there to the left. He's a couple of pairs away. The director of bowling for Boyd Gaming. He's been a longtime supporter of bowling. He helps oversee the operations of 4 bowling centers that Boyd Gaming has here in the Las Vegas market.
Hey, Randy, you want to interview him real quick, and I'll grab the wireless?
I do.
Let me get the wireless queued up here.
We're going to set up a little interview right quick with Mr. Kaufman. We're going to do a little sneak attack on him very quickly.
Be just a second here.
Please? Yeah, for our show. It's only going to take 1 second. 2 minutes. Hey, it's only an internet webcast. It's only an internet webcast.
Mr. Kaufman is a very nice man, very good man, bowling professional, bowling industry professional. He's always behind the scenes taking care of all the bowlers and the people and everything that come into the 4 facilities here in Las Vegas that Boyd Gaming runs in bowling, which are very integral to our sport, which are the Orleans, the Gold Coast, the Sun Coast, as well as Sam's Town. And actually, that's where I met Mr. Kaufman many years ago when I worked for the Ladies Tour as a tournament director. He was running the operations at Sam's Town and just does a yeoman's job in making sure that gets done. Well, Mr. Kaufman's kind of begging off on the interview. He, like I said, he's a great guy. He loves to be behind the scenes and not a guy for being out in the front. But trust me, his fingerprint is all over the operation here. He does a phenomenal job. He's been a supporter of bowling, and
some people are just busy.
Yeah, and a staunch advocate of bowling, and for many moons, I've had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Kaufman probably close to, well, actually over 20 years, and.
Well, I just got done talking to Mike.
See you, Chris.
And, Mike is one of the most humble people you'll ever meet. And he politely bowed out of the interview. He said, "No, I'm not Hollywood. I'm going to go. I'm going home." And
yeah, that's just what we were talking about.
Yeah,
he's been behind the scenes and he helps run the bowling. He actually directs all the bowling operation for Boyd Gaming. And they actually have 4 bowling centers. When we talked the other day, they actually have a bowling center at one of their properties in Des Moines, Iowa, as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's
Dubuque as well.
Yeah, and so he was, we were kind of discussing that, and he's, and actually he's one of the few people who's actually suffered through an entire round of golf with me, so I like him a little bit. Anyhow. So.
I think part of the method to his madness is to stay behind the scenes so he can get more work done.
Absolutely. Like I mentioned, I got to know Mike when I worked for the Ladies Tour, and he was always there if you needed something. He was always the first guy if there's something that needed to be done, but when everything was running terrific and guys were taking the bows, you couldn't find him. You just couldn't find him. He wanted to be in the back. He wanted to be the guy making sure that everything worked well and that the guests and the bowlers were taken care of, and I've got to give him a lot of credit for that. Yeah,
hey guys, too, our wireless camera needs a little bit of time to charge here. I didn't realize that the USB charging device up on the top needed to get charged up, so we're going to be without the wireless here for a little bit anyway.
Well, we might have to call one of these strings of strikes long distance, then run down and text you up the info.
I might have a solution to this.
I give a shout out to my girlfriend.
Absolutely, sure. What's your girlfriend's name?
From Dan.
From Dan? Stand right there. Okay, from Dan to who?
Jessica.
To Jessica. You want to mention a city or a state?
Huh?
Okay, there's a shout out. Dan wants to say hello to Jessica. He's bowling here on 17 and 18 at Jessica. That's a great Allman Brothers song. One of the great rock and roll song names of all time is Jessica.
I like Starship's Sarah.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Sarah's a good one. There was also Sarah Smile by Hall Notes. There's a Sarah by Fleetwood Mac, too. Just a little. See, and it's beginning to start now. We're only in the first half of the first game.
You are a connoisseur.
Well, I know I'm a sewer sometimes. we're searching out some strings of strikes, and as Mike mentioned, on lanes 19 and 20, we have the first all-women's team, and we've got them on one of the featured pairs, which is terrific. And I tell you, they're throwing some strikes on the lanes. They're good. They're good bowlers.
Hey, I just want to show
players.
you guys, when you're technically sound, this white thing up here, this is what needed to be charged, okay?
Okay.
So I've never had it run out of battery life over the course of a day, but we were using it hot and heavy earlier today. We were riding this thing like a bucking bronco here. But
wow.
So I just happened to reach into my bag, and I've got another USB charging device, just happened to be charged, and now the camera's back up and running. So that's when you know you got enough stuff.
You've got so many gadgets.
It's pretty crazy.
He's like
right?
Maxwell Smart.
Right?
He's James Bond.
Yeah, or MacGyver.
Exactly.
That guy could make a camera out of a tin can, some tin foil, and bungee cords. Oh, and I forgot the popsicle stick.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm pretty excited about this, actually.
So am I.
Like, this is a big deal right now.
That is a big deal.
This is a big deal that this
That's
is,
very
like,
cool.
working. Like, we're back in business.
I mean, that's really being able to make it very personal to go down on the lanes and have people spend a couple of minutes and give a shout out to, you know, people back home or folks that wanted to see somebody. And there's been, you know, request after request, and Mike and the crew have done a great job of doing their best to try to get as many people on camera.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I've been to Phoenix, Arizona, and all the way to Tacoma, and Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA, Northern California, where the girls are warm. You know,
that's it. You got it.
That's just where I've been.
Hey, we've got a little report in from our roving reporter Catherine Feeney from lane 46. Bill Nichols, remember Bill Nichols, the Air Force man? He's got the front 5 in a row. Just a little heads up, and over here. So we have a little sideline, our own sideline reporter there.
That's nice. We've got 5-bagger over here on 13 and 14.
Yep.
And this is kind of a reoccurring theme here at the 2015 Military Bowling Championship. Lots of strikes, lots of big scores, lots of good bowlers, lots of folks having a good time.
That's great.
Speaking of good times, where's the beer?
Hey, the beveraging needs to commence. So Randy can get we can get through the last couple hours here. It's going to be the happy hours for these two fellas. I'm going to have to kind of keep it in the fairway for them.
I'm in hour 25. Hour 25.
You're an hour and 25 what?
No, I'm in hour 25.
Yes.
Oh, you are in hour 25, yes.
You figure there was 9 hours. You figure there's been 9 hours a day, even with the breaks, 8 to 11, 12 to 3 and so forth. And Mike has been anchoring this. He's been the backbone. I won't say what other parts he might have been, but he's been the staunch guy who's been here to let guys like me be,
Starting to feel a little under the weather. I hope I don't have Ebola.
I hope you don't have Ebola either. That wouldn't work out too well. So
we had Frank Caliendo on the show earlier today.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, he was on.
Wow. That's even bigger than the Jim Beam girls. We don't know how much Randy's been following, so we're going to maybe recycle some of the stuff we've done to catch you up, to keep you in the loop on some of the festivities that we've been discussing.
Frank Callion. Hey, that gentleman's talking to you.
Frank, you want to give a shout out? All right, hold on. Here's the microphone. Just hold on a second. Let me cue this up. Randy, when I give you the cue here. Hold on, let me zoom out.
There you go.
All right, let's cue him up. Here we go.
Hey, Jessica, I just wanted to say hi, and I love you. I miss you. Wish you were here.
And where are you from?
I'm from North Carolina, and I can't wait to get home.
There you go.
There you have it. Awesome. There you go, buddy. That's what we do. We make dreams come true.
See, that's what you should have done this whole time. Put up a little station, have the announcers say, hey, we've got the shout-out station over here down behind lanes 17 and 18. If anybody wants to give a shout-out to loved ones, send them a text. Have them go to InsideBowling.com. Send them a text saying you're going to send them something nice have them get on the internet, watch the bowling, and then boom, there you are, sending a shout out to a loved one back home.
We'll do that next time.
Idea. That's a great idea.
That's why you pay me the big bucks.
There
yes.
you go.
Huh?
Totally.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're more than just a pretty face and voice.
Well, you know, and they've always said that I have the perfect face for radio. So,
hey, speaking of a couple other little developments, our roving reporter says on lane 47, another Air Force man, Jeffrey Wright, has the first 7 in a row. So we're trying to reach all the lanes as best we can, but there are some limitations. And while we're getting set up, we want to mention our sponsors. You know,
just so you know, I always do this one right here.
Okay, you got it. I will throw it to you when we get to that one.
So
is that fair enough?
Just start ripping them, and then I do that one.
Sounds great. We're glad to be sponsored and brought to you by the 2015 Military Championships, brought to you by Storm Products, the maker and manufacturer of the greatest bowling balls on earth. I can humbly say that. We're very privileged to be part of that team.
It's just a fact.
And, you know, if you've seen what they've done in January all over the world, from, you know, the World Tour event in Finland, with Rotogrip and Storm being 1, 2, 3, and then in Japan being 4 of the top 5 of the DHC Japan Cup. And, you know, the Team USA trials, the men and the women, 1, 2, 3, the top 3 on each. I mean, it's been phenomenal, and that just kind of backs up, you know, even Mike Fagan winning the World Championship. Also, Turbo 2-in-1 grips. We just wanted to recognize Dave Bernhardt and Lori Mraz's fine company. Mr. Chris Sand has been here this week and been doing a great job. Understand Dave's son, Lori's brother, has been over at the Gold Coast doing a great job and having a good time over there with those folks. Counts Customs. For those of you who follow you know, counting cars, he's got a great little rock and roll place out on Flamingo Road, and he has a terrific tattoo parlor and apparel company over in the Rio.
You know, since they're sponsors,
yes,
and I'm doing this show, and we're plugging them,
yeah,
I need a tattoo.
That's the place to go.
Well,
that is the place to go.
No, listen.
It's right there in that masquerade village in the Rio.
I'm not just walking in like some schlub off the street.
Yeah.
I want someone to make a phone call, say, hey, Randy Pedersen's been plugging your show throughout this, blah, 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 ESPN guy. Somebody hook me up.
Well,
I'm looking for a
hookup.
hookup.
See, the thing is, we know the right guys because K&K Bowling Services, one of our other sponsors, actually does all the apparel for Counts Customs.
Okay.
Does all of it. So we can definitely get you hooked up with Ken Keegan and Kathy and those folks, giving you the reference and getting you with the right people to take care of it.
Let's get this done tomorrow. I need this gone.
Gotcha.
I need a cover-up.
There you go. You need a re-ink.
I need a re-ink. I need a cover-up from this mistake that can no longer be shown to any human being on the planet. So I need this covered up.
Yeah, I could have known without seeing that myself.
Right?
Anyhow, going on from there.
Let's just say this. It's got a certain someone's initials on it that needs to go away.
That's quite understandable. And that'll be quite the Enterprise, which, by the way, is our rental car sponsor, Enterprise Rental Car. And they will bring the cars to you. I've experienced that. If you ever need a rental car company that'll bring it to your house, they're the folks to help you out if your car's in the garage, you're not working, or need a little help.
Listen, let me tell you something about Enterprise Rental Car. You and I travel for a living.
Absolutely.
I've rented tons of cars from every car rental agency out there. Enterprise is by far the best. The only time I don't rent from Enterprise is when they're just too expensive for whatever reason that week.
Right.
But the customer service, the cars, it's by far the best rental company out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not even a question. Also, we want to recognize Budweiser, the king of beers. Edelman Financial, Rick Edelman, Brad's brother. I'm setting you up to let you have the.
You said I was going to do that one.
I know. I jumped. You said you wanted that one.
No, this one.
Oh, I apologize.
That's all right.
I apologize. K&K Bowling Services, we mentioned them previously. Mr. King Keegan, he and his lovely wife Kathy, they help operate all the pro shops here in the Boyd Gaming Property Bowling Centers.
Yeah.
And in a new one, Southern New Hampshire University, one of the best online universities going, and they actually have a military program.
Let's not forget Jim Beam. They had the Jim Beam girls here earlier today.
Yes.
But the one that I wanted to do, and my worst Harry Carey impression, is this one. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Back to you, Wes.
Hey, I'm trying to channel my inner Steve Stone, but...
that was more like Will Ferrell doing Harry Carey.
It's more like Wilford Brimley than Will Ferrell. Yeah.
That was no Wilford Brimley, sir. Now, you want to hear something funny? You should hear Frank Caliendo doing Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman talking about LeBron James.
Mike talked about that earlier. I haven't heard that. I got to look it up.
It is hysterical.
I tell you, I can't. Every time I see Frank Caliendo, I think of him doing John Gruden, doing Chucky.
He does a great John Gruden.
Yeah, and that's a good one.
For those of you at home that don't know who John Gruden is, he used to be the coach of the Raiders, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he won a Super Bowl, and now he is the color analyst for Monday Night Football on ESPN.
We have one other. Ma'am, I don't know. You might want to ask him at the desk. He might have a.
We're back.
We're back.
And the Cubs are trailing in the bottom of the 7th inning.
All right, guys, joining us right now.
Whoa.
Is Frank Caliendo as Morgan Freeman one more time.
Here you go.
What are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? Practice. We're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We're talking about practice, man. When you come to the arena and you see me play, don't you? You see me give everything I got, right? But we talking about practice now. We're talking about practice. Man, look. I hear you. It's funny to me, too. I mean, it's strange. It's strange to me, too. But we talking about practice, man.
So there you go, guys.
That is some good stuff there.
That is some good stuff.
Hey, I want to give a shout out real quick to Mike Sargent. This is one of our technical advisors back in Brigham City, Utah, and I see he's just checked in. So, Mike, hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying warm, buddy.
Hey, he just opened a new pro shop in Fat Cats in Ogden.
Mike Sargent did. Good
Yes,
for him.
He's doing a nice job. He saw a need there. They didn't have anyone that could help develop bowlers or help with the basic equipment, information, and what have you. And Mike saw a need and a desire to do it, so he put together a little situation there, and it's going good for him. He's had it about a month now.
Good for him.
Yeah, I think he'll do really well. He's a good young man, very enthusiastic.
I hope he does. He sure knows. He sure knows what he's doing and what he's talking about when it comes to equipment, core designs, layouts. But he doesn't know anything about this. I don't believe it. Because that's the only thing he ever says to me when I walk into the plant. There's Mike Sargent, and first thing I hear out of his mouth, I don't believe it. Which is an Ernie Schlegel reference, just so you know. So.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I watched that particular show, and I feel for you.
Well, he doesn't realize that I just got out of therapy over that.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, you are recovering nicely. That twitch you had, it seems to be the medication seems to be helping that twitch.
Yes, it is.
And by the way, one of the funniest things I've ever seen on an outtake in a Storm video was you discussing the urethane. You were discussing the urethane at Storm. You were doing a video there.
Yeah.
Anyhow, you were getting a little punchy later in the day, and the Storm urethane is fantastic. And you were doing through the hooks and jerks and everything. Anyhow, I'll have to find that somewhere. But
yeah, you got.
You were quite fun. You were quite fun that day.
I think Louis had all of the outtakes, and he was going to edit it and put it on a disc for me, and we could have sent that to like HBO, and we could have gotten our own cable show.
Yep, absolutely, not even a question. Yeah. Just trying to check on a couple of. Actually, we've got Bill Nichols has got the front 11 way up in the high 40s.
Where are you getting these updates?
Well, our roving reporter, Catherine Feeney, the nice young lady I'm hanging around with, is sending me some text messages to let me know what's going on. He's from Sacramento. Bill, if I've got this correctly, yep. Lane 46, Bill Nichols from the Air Force. He's throwing a storm ball. He's from Sacramento, and he's going to be up on the lanes to on lane 46 to go for 300. And actually, for those of you who were watching a couple of days ago, we had Bill on one of the featured pairs, just off to the side, and he top-notch bowler, good player, good bowler. And like we said, once again, the first game, we have someone that strings the strikes. We have the big long strings of strikes the first game or so. Calms down a little bit game 2, and away we go. Yes. Hello.
Now Wes Pye is getting phone updates. This is pretty good.
Hey, Randy, is the camera working? Is the camera working?
I do not see it right now, sir.
Is it a black screen?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
What do you got for me, Wes? Anything good?
Well, I tell you what, so how did you finish out? What did he do on the 12th ball? You left one, you only got 9. Do you know which pin? Okay.
Was it at 299?
299 by Bill Nichols, the first game out of the gate. The Air Force man from Sacramento.
299 is like the number of the tournament.
Yep, it sure is. It sure is. But you know, you get right to that spot, and you know sometimes you try a little harder, try a little extra. You know, you get your, you know, these folks out here bowling are very competitive, and they're good bowlers, but they got the competitive spirit. And sometimes you can maybe not stay as composed when you're, you know, got that front 11.
Pressure is a terrible thing at times. It can make people do funny things. It can make normal people act silly.
That's right. That's right.
But you know what? That was the one thing that I always loved about what I did back in the day when I was on tour and when I was on television competing. Anytime I felt that feeling of what people call pressure, in my brain, when I felt that, there was something that went off in my head that said, now is when it gets fun. Mm-hmm. And it was something that I just embraced. I enjoyed it. Was I nervous? Absolutely. But it was nervous energy and pressure that I had been waiting for the entire week.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And there was no feeling like it. You know, it's really hard to describe unless you've been there and done that. And I'll tell you what, I asked Walter Ray one day after Walter had made like his 120th show. And I said, Walter, you still get nervous on television? He goes, yeah. I said, wow, that's pretty cool. And you know what? I think I believe him, because I think that once that goes away, you're done.
Right.
And there's no meaning. There's no meaning. So
it's that edge.
Right, exactly.
That edge you need to have.
And that feeling that people get when they're bowling their first, second, or third 300 of their life, or me getting up in the 10th frame to try to throw a strike to win a title. That's the kind of feeling that makes it all worth it.
Absolutely, you're right. Absolutely, and that's where a lot of these folks are. I mean, we've seen them do, do some really incredible bowling this week. And let's face it, with their duty and the services, the service they're involved in, not to mention taking care of families in a lot of cases, and many have traveled great distances to be here with us this week and be a part of this great event. It's like icing on the cake. I mean, hey, I did all these things and I got here, but man, look, I'm being successful out here on the lanes.
Right.
Having a good time.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of great men and women in this event that have done some great things for our country that you and I will never know about.
Absolutely, you're right. You were so right. They'll be the unsung heroes that have taken care of things. And
I got a camera
kept business
here.
as usual. Got Mike down on 13 and 14.
This is Thomas Wall working on 279. This is the 11th ball.
He's wearing his Army shirt.
He's got a big hand.
Part of the Army team. Really cool team jerseys.
He's got a lot of hand at the bottom there. That was a great looking shot.
And then this is Timothy Adams.
What's he throwing, Mike?
Looks like a wrecker or a crux from what I could see. By the way, side note, somebody down here for their cell phone ringer has crickets as the ringer.
You know, I thought I heard some crickets, but I wasn't. I thought that just might be in between my ears.
I thought that was our audience.
279 Thomas Wall here if he fills it up in 10th frame, 12th ball.
At least it's better than a screaming goat.
Oh, I love those screaming goats.
Oh my gosh.
Nice shot.
Really nice game.
Nice game.
Nice game, Thomas. Back to you guys.
Thank you, sir. Nice coverage lane side there with Mike F. lane side.
That's right.
Not to be confused.
Yeah.
And as we referenced earlier this week, Mike's Cocktails and Dreams Flanagan.
Oh, that's great.
We were reaching way back into the Tom Cruise
Cocktails
references.
and Dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, we were referencing a lot of the Top Gun stuff, and we were having a good time with you know, a lot of the different references. Randy's taking time out to get a selfie and getting a little action here, having a good time with the bowlers. Yeah.
Okay.
And hey, and we're gonna.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
We're gonna have a selfie of a selfie going on right here. Check this out.
Zoom out.
This is the, and you know, and if I wasn't the right kind of guy, I could like step in here like photobomb them and like really be a pain in the neck. But I'm not gonna do that to those guys. I'm gonna stay out of the way. No photobombing, not allowed.
Hey, Mike, I lost the picture. Hurry up and get this good-looking man on there and let him and I take a selfie, and so he can be on his way and I can continue to talk nonsense. Oh, we appreciate you guys.
Great
Kenny,
time.
this is what's your name?
Tony Childress.
I'm with Tony Childress. Wait, I'll cue you up here in a minute as soon as we get RoboCam back up and working. Tony Childress.
Correct.
Where are you from?
I'm Colorado Springs. I'm originally from Peoria, Illinois.
Ah, Landmark Lanes.
That's right.
Is it still there?
It is still there.
Unbelievable.
Does it still have the race book in there? They had
do.
Here we
still have
go.
the race book in, yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. We got action.
Okay.
All right, everybody. So I'm here with Tony Childress. We're going to take a selfie. Go ahead. You ready?
All right, I'm ready.
There you go.
Hey, man, we want to thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
And we appreciate you stopping by and saying hi.
You're welcome.
And we're for,
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very
we're
much.
here
Thank
for
you,
you
sir.
guys. You have any other friends that want to come in and take a selfie or just hang out or do whatever, just feel
We
free
got
to
a
stop
shout
by.
out. Got a shout
Got
out
it.
to somebody back in
You want
Peoria
to
or somewhere?
you got a shout out to anybody?
Just out to my wife in Colorado Springs, Bernadette. I love you to death, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Bernadette,
There you go.
little shout out for you.
Hey, that's another
Thanks,
great
man.
rock and roll
Appreciate
song.
it.
Four Top song. That's right. Take care. Thank you,
Thanks for
sir.
hanging out with us.
Now we're getting all these great rock and roll girlfriend names. We had Jessica earlier. Now we got Bernadette,
Roxanne.
Roxanne. We talked about Sarah. All the different versions of that. I'd say the other. It's interesting to me how many people, just not the bowlers that are here, but the family and extended family and friends and colleagues and brothers in arms that are here, that are hanging out and having a good time and watching the bowling, as well as the bowlers. There's so much cool interaction that yes, it's competitive, and yes, it's an event, yes, it's a tournament, but by the same token, that underlying thing is the camaraderie and the kinship.
Yeah, the bottom line for me is I sum it up very simply. These are good people.
Here. The best of the best when it comes to the military, absolutely. And and you're absolutely right. I mean, we've been very blessed to, in our lifetime, it's been a voluntary service. I mean, I remember my father was drafted.
Yeah.
But he elected to go into the Air Force, and he served in the Air Force, and he was very proud of that. That was one of the proud things that he always told me as being a young man, to saying, it's, you need to serve your country. You need to do your part.
Right. Agreed. The other thing, when you look around at these folks, they're all dressed up nice. They all have bowling shirts on. Mm-hmm. They all have their own equipment. You don't see anybody kicking the ball return. You don't see somebody yelling the F-bomb when they leave a 10-pin.
That's right.
It's not a matter of life or death for these folks.
That's right.
They know what that is.
Yes, sir.
This is fun.
Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely.
So
Randy said it perfect.
I
hear those crickets again.
They put
Telling you the cricket.
That's unbelievable.
They put everything into perspective, and that's why I love being a part of this event.
I mean, we've met so many very interesting people with what they did. There was a F-22 mechanic and a guy who does munitions. I mean, just on and on and on and on. And just folks that you meet that, you know, they have jobs that matter in the big scope of everything that moves forward for the safety and security of our country.
And I think one of the things that I'm not sure if you've mentioned this throughout the last couple of days, but, you know, one of the most, oh God, what's the word? One of the most fulfilling moments of my career was when we were involved with the Wounded Warriors Project. And, you know, Storm is a huge sponsor of that. Mike Sinek put it all together for us, and we were all there. And I'll never forget, I was talking to a young man who was a helicopter gunner and jumped out of the helicopter thinking it was 4 feet off the ground when it was 8 feet off the ground and shattered his right leg.
Oh, my God.
Still bowling. Now, he's right-handed. It helps that he can plant on his left foot. But, and I spoke with this young man for an hour and a half, and it was the best conversation that I'd had in a long time, and him telling me, you know, all of the goings-on and what he saw and things that he was involved in. And, I mean, man, and I was just so proud that day to be on Storm staff and to be a part of that function and us being there with the Wounded Warriors. It was great. And the smiles on their faces, we were just there to help them with their bowling.
Right.
And we gave them help, a little information, and the looks on their faces as they started to improve and throw strikes. And, I mean, you can't put a price tag on that.
No, we did mention that earlier in the week. And one of the other things we did mention is when it comes to the military championships or the Wounded Warrior projects or some of the other events that we do that are involved with some of the cause marketing that Storm does, is there's no lacking of people that volunteer to say, I want in, I want to be part of that.
Yep.
Hey, I want to be at the Wounded Warrior Project, and traveling coast to coast or making themselves available regardless of what's going on, or coming into the military championship and be here just not to promote Storm but to say thank you and show our appreciation. You know, we're just beginning game 2 of the last squad of the day here with the 2015 Military Championships.
All right, and
at
if
the
anybody,
Orleans Bowling Center and Casino.
sorry,
Sure, no worries.
If anybody's out there that can type into our live chat, let me know if you still have a connection. I see some things that are coming across that says the connection isn't good. Mike Flanagan is on it right now. So just bear with us for 1 second, folks.
It's those crickets.
I hear him again.
I hear them again. I'm with you right there.
How we doing, Mike? Thumbs up. You know, one time when I went to the proctologist, I saw that same sign. I've been leery ever since. I don't know about you guys, but
Yep.
you know, anytime I see that,
Yes.
thumbs up.
Yes, sir.
You weren't listening.
I do apologize.
How are we looking on their on our feed there, Mike? We got a good connection now. I think we had to do some technical work over there. Only Mike Flanagan can handle.
You know, while we're talking about that, Mike's kind of bringing us back together again. We had an interview with Brad Edelman 2 days ago.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things he mentioned, we've tried to make sure we kind of get back to it, is this is a sold-out event. 140 lanes of bowling between the 2 bowling centers, between the Orleans, where we're broadcasting from, and also the Gold Coast. And Brad just want to let know, any of the military, you know, active, retired, former service, what have you, if you want to be part of the event, please get in touch with Brad Edelman, the high roller staff. They've been in charge of running this event for over 10 years. They said they'd be more than happy to work with Boyd Gaming and the bowling centers to get more days, to get more lanes, to create some more squads. So anyone that's listening wants to be a part, that hasn't come out and bowled or joined in the fun that these folks are having, please, you know, go to militarybowlingchampionships.com, shoot them a little email, and they'll be glad to help accommodate you. as well as when you got a sold-out event, there's a lot of great activity, and there's other activities along with bowling. I think they have a poker tournament, several other things they do during this week. That camaraderie and friendship that Boyd Gaming and Brad's group at the High Roller staff do a really nice job of that. So just wanted to pass that along for those that might not have heard Brad say that a couple of days ago, that, hey, there's room for more. They want to build it. This thing has been phenomenal insofar as the growth it's had over the 10 years that the High Roller staff and Brad have been working on the event. And actually the military championship started back in 1957. So they've really been around a long time, and they've really evolved as different generations of bowlers have been participating.
Did they even have bowling balls back then?
You know what? I think they're out of wood, or
They were wood. They were wooden bowling balls, weren't they?
57 kind of predated you and I by just a scotch. It predated me by a scotch. You weren't even, well. You were a youngster. You were.
I wasn't born yet.
You weren't there yet.
No.
Everybody, in regards to the feed, everything should be perfect. If it's not, just refresh your browser, let us know, but everything should be fine now.
And thank you for that technical update, Michael.
And Mike also told us that if you're hearing an echo, close down your double browsers. only have one open, because otherwise, he said, he shared a little story with us earlier this week that he said, a gentleman sent him a message, man, I'm getting this echo. So he's going through all this stuff. He says, hey, by the way, do you have more than one browser open? So if you're doing, you're getting a little extra double talk there. Close one of them down.
I should be so lucky to have a double browser.
Would it be like an echoing browser?
I don't know. Shout out to Dean Boyer on lanes 55 and 56. Nice 267 game.
There you go, 267.
I have a sore throat. I think I need some of that airborne stuff.
Or a shot of that Jim Beam fire.
I don't think that's going to help me. Do you?
It got that cinnamon taste to it.
What is that going to do for my throat?
Make it feel better, or numb it.
I don't think so. The only thing it's going to do is numb my brain. I think we're going to have another shout out here in a second. Mike, are you ready? All right, standing by. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, I'd like to say hello to my son, Angel Hernandez, Ernie Hernandez, my daughter, Jennifer, and to all the guys from Victorville, and of course at the high school in Long Beach, California. Go Jaguars all the way. Thank you. And look at the bowling.com, because this is the best time at the military championship at Las Vegas. Thank you.
All right, awesome.
Nice job. That was great.
InsideBowling.com.
.tv.
.tv.
We're on Inside. Either way? Well,
Either way.
Yeah, here's the deal. It's InsideBowling.com, but then when you go there, you have to click at the top, the live streaming button. So we also have InsideBowling.tv, which a lot of people are going to now. That just takes you directly. It's one click less.
Gotcha.
So we are InsideBowling.com, but if you go to InsideBowling.tv, you just have one less click. Try to make it easy.
Hey, I'm thinking.
Either way is fine.
I'm thinking about coming up with another website. InsideRandy'sHead.com.
Is that like inside John Malkovich's head?
There's a lot of room in there.
Hey guys, I got a cool idea that I'm working on, but this
What are you building?
but this camera needs to charge first.
What are you building for us?
Oh, I'm just beginning our cleanup here, or my packing up for when we tear down. But I've got something pretty cool that I want to do.
All right, and you're charging the RoboCam?
Yep.
All right. Well, stay tuned for that. You know what I feel like doing? I feel like walking through all the pairs, all 35 pairs of lanes, all 200 and how many bowlers do we have, Wes? We have 70 times 6 or 70 times 3, 210.
Over 200.
We have 200 over 200 bowlers here.
Yes.
I feel like walking to each pair of lanes and saying, "Hey, listen, if anybody wants to give a shout out, walk up to the booth."
Well, It's funny you say that. That's kind of close. It's semi-close to what I have planned here. I say we just go with it now. I think I got enough charge. I think we're okay. I was going to go around like you did earlier, Randy, and just get some shots of things happening.
Yeah.
But I want to play a song and have no commentary during the time we go around. Okay?
I love it. Do it, man.
Perfect.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Wow, great stuff. Thanks for that, Mike. Great stuff. Still getting some great pictures over there. Just a phenomenal event.
We've got a little report from our roving reporter on the concourse down on lane 51. Mike Anderjack throwing a storm ball. He's got the front nine, first nine. So we'll try to get
What
you a
pair of
little-
lanes?
51 and 2. Way up on the high end. And he just threw the 10th one. We'll see how he does. We apologize we can't get him on.
Scores are
directly on
coming from
camera.
the high end right now.
Sure is. Yeah, we've got. We'll have you a little update on what happens with Mike Andrew Jack on his 11th shot here in just a minute. That was outstanding, Mike. That's you know what? That's the you get the award, man. I can't even tell you how cool that is. I can't even tell you how moving, spot on that was.
Yeah.
There wasn't a dry eye in the booth, just so you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also give you we got the front 11 down there. Mike Andrew Jack just threw the 11th one on 51-2.
Nice.
And he's getting up on the approach right now, and we'll try to give you a little reaction as soon as we know what he does on the 12th shot.
Next year, RoboCam will be able to reach far and beyond.
Hey, we're gonna have like the GoPros, be like the Eagles.
Man,
concert
wouldn't that
with
be
Joe,
cool?
with Joe Walsh, where he's doing the
Yeah,
stuff.
the GoPros.
He shot 300. We have a 300. Mike
300
Andrew
game.
Jack down on 51 and 52.
Beautiful.
That's fantastic. Hey, Mike, maybe the curse is now lifted.
Yeah, maybe it is. Hey, early. I think Randy's the good luck charm because we had 2 earlier.
Hey, I'm telling you, that's it. You got.
Well, you know what they're doing. They're just showing off.
That's it.
That's exactly right.
That's
So.
it. Well, they know you're in the house.
Yeah, there's a Hall of Famer in here. I got to show him that I can bowl too.
Yeah, I got some moves. I got some strikes in me. I got my strike ball going on. I'm with the Randy man. Yeah.
Well, that was a pretty powerful little piece you just put together there, real quick, there, Mike. That was pretty awesome.
Brings everything into perspective.
Well, my goal here, when I have extra time, which I'm going to make time to do, is to take the highlights from all 3 days, like the 300s and stuff, with commentary, and put it in with the song. Put together a little piece like that.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a great piece to watch when you're done with it.
I saw it. Yeah. Sorry, we just having to flag this down on 17.
The pocket 710 with the no 9 pin?
Exactly. Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I saw it because I'm just a little different angle. That you're a little straighter on. And, hey, with all due respect, you got to have them all up there. And it's still missing the 9 pin.
There you go. Got a question in from Bush44. What do you guys think about the wave of two-handed bowlers? I have a few on my Tuesday league. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a trend, but very hard to do, I think.
Absolutely. I think you've really got to, if you watch the Oscar Palermas and the Jason Belmontes and even some of the other younger kids that are coming up, yes, it's a trend and it's a style, but it's, you've got to be very athletically gifted to have the coordination to do that and do it properly and accurately. So,
when you think about all the stuff that comes into play, now I get it on a house shot. I get it. So more revs, more power equals more pin carry.
Right.
I get it. Lots of forgiveness on a house shot. But here's the thing. No 9 pin.
No 9 pin again. I can't believe they didn't see that. There wasn't a 9 pin again. Well, we got 1 out of 2. So there,
you didn't have a 9 pin again.
There's not a 9 pin again. No, again. So you don't have one
Look,
in the rack again.
there's not one there now.
Yeah.
Look.
Sorry, guys. You just want to call it in. Sorry, guys. I like it.
That's awesome. This gentleman what's your name, sir? What's your name? Chris what? Chris Shaw. Chris Shaw just said that he needs all the practice he can get. That was beautiful.
That was good. That's very good.
Excuse me, can we get a couple shots of that cinnamon stuff? See how. Who's got more time for that? Who's got more time than that? Hey, everybody, coming to you live from the Orleans here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Randy Pedersen along with Wes Pye and Mike Flanagan. The 2015 Military Bowling Championships. Over 1,800 bowlers competing in this great event. Man, good stuff. I just wanted to give us kind of a welcome back and what people are watching. And, man, you know, you and I could actually it's the same with Mike. I mean, we could sit here and do this stuff for hours upon hours upon hours because we can talk about so many other things other than just bowling. And we've got so much in common. And so it's great. I can't believe we actually get paid to do this. Wait, they are paying us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard the check was in the mail. Hey, our roving reporter down on lane 61 just checked in and said that Josh Chambliss has got the front 7, has got the first 7. Randy is going to do a little toast with a couple of his buddies and his friends. Going to do a little salute.
Is this good for a sore throat?
Yeah. Oh, it's 190 proof. Cheers to my brother.
There you go.
Cheers, everybody. Goodbye.
Having a little good time here. Spreading a little cheer.
Tastes like right off, don't it?
Straighten him right up.
Straighten it right out. Wow.
All right. Now, just for the record, I was drinking water, but I was toasting with them.
Exactly correct. That's exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you were doing. It was a cinnamon-colored Kool-Aid.
Hey, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't at least come in at one point in time during this broadcast to thank Brian Burkhart for all that he's done to make this possible. I get all the credit showing up and doing all this, but he's the one that built the machinery that can make all this happen and taught me how to use it. So it's actually also his equipment that we continue to pay down gradually over the course of events that we do. It's not a lot of money that comes in when we do these events, but it's enough to help pay down the amount of money that Brian threw down towards all this different stuff, and it's constantly getting better all the time. So, you know, if somebody else wanted to do and have the exact same setup that we have, you're looking at about $40,000. It's a nice car.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Well, then that means the car that I'm driving, I could only have like half of this stuff.
yeah, I mean, if you just even look around, like the Audio-Technica headsets,
Yeah.
you know, they're $270. We buy them through Guitar Center. I call them up. We buy enough stuff. I get them down to about $200 a piece, but that's just 600 in headsets alone.
Right, sure.
You know, the little devices that the signal goes into and then comes out through a different cable.
Right.
300 a piece. Got 4 of them.
I like your tripods here. Are those new?
Those are aluminum alloy tripods.
Yeah.
$170 a piece.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because through banging around, they're not going to break. They're
Gotcha.
not plastic. And
Guess what I saw on Shark Tank last night?
oh, I got it recorded, but that's okay. Tell me.
Well, I don't know. It may have been an old one. I don't know. It was on CNBC. I don't know if
Oh,
it was an
okay.
old.
Yeah.
So everybody knows about duct tape, right?
Right.
Yeah.
These 2 college kids invented this tape, and you take it out, and whatever you're going to try to fix, and they call it fiber tape or some kind of fiber, and it's water activated. So you wrap up whatever you like. For example, let's say you snap the leg off of a wooden chair, something that's weight bearing, something that you're not going to glue that back together with Elmer's glue, right? And
Exactly.
if you duct tape it together, guess what happens? It's gonna come off.
That's right.
They duct tape. They put this tape on that leg, water activated it, and it was like steel.
Wow.
That is pretty cool.
That is cool.
And so guess what? The Sharks were all over it, and
Yeah.
they signed them to a deal, and they did the deal.
I love Shark Tank.
I love
good
Shark Tank. Who's your favorite on Shark Tank?
Cuban.
Yeah, you gotta like Mark Q. I mean, I love listening. He's not my favorite. I just love the rhetoric, the stuff that comes out of Mr. Wonderful's mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And then
Lori's kind of a little hottie.
Lori's cute, man, especially since she's worth gazillions. and then my guy on the end, Robert.
Yeah.
I can never pronounce his last name.
You know, Shark Tank is actually a remake of a program in the UK called Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair?
Dragon's Den, which is
Dragon's
kind of the same, which is the same kind of concept.
Same
but
concept.
And actually, Mark Cuban, you mentioned it. Actually, Mark Cuban bowled in a pro-am in Dallas, Texas.
I met him. I was standing right next to
What
him.
a great guy!
Really
I had
nice
the
guy.
pleasure of bowling with him.
Big guy.
And I tell you what, he came in there with no entourage.
Yeah.
The
by
funniest,
himself.
funniest moment, there was a little boy there with his mom and dad. The kid was wearing a San Antonio Spurs jersey. He says, come on, man, just tell me. The Cuban says, Spurs stink. Just one time, please tell me. I'll get you another jersey. I'll get you some tickets. He says, and the little kid would sit there and shake his head, no. I love the Spurs. I'm about the Spurs. And Cuban was like, that's really cool, man. You're a true fan. He came in with no entourage whatsoever. He drilled up a red, white, and blue the basketball, storm ball. They had guys out on the capping taking pictures of him. He made the 5'7". They put it on SportsCenter that night.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Fantastic. Really good guy. Great guy.
Big guy, too. He's
Great
like
guy.
6'3".
Yes.
Cuban's a big dude.
How about when he was working at McDonald's?
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen, yeah.
Queen, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, he went in there because there was a conversation about Dawn Holgate, who used to work for the PBA, who was buddies with Chris Schlemmer and some of the folks around Storm. She went to work for Mark Cuban. She now, I heard, she used to work for the PBA. She went to work for Cuban's organization, and she was kind of his assistant that would take him around. So there was some conversation about Dairy Queen, and he went and actually worked into Dairy Queen for the day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, something happened where he made like some off-the-cuff comment or something, and somebody picked up on it. So he said, you know what, I'm going to go work at a Dairy Queen for a day.
He's a great dude, man. I tell you what, that interaction that we had with him at the Pro-Am in Dallas, it was great. He was great.
You're going to think this is crazy, but I've actually suggested that Storm go on Shark Tank.
To do what?
Well, think about this for a minute. Already a very successful company. It would be the biggest deal in Shark Tank history if they wanted to buy in.
I just saw a $2 million deal last night. That was the biggest deal to date. So again, if I'm giving it away for you, sorry.
No, but if let's just say Bill and Barbara went on there and told their story, millions of people would see the story and be interested in bowling, whether they got a deal done or not. It would bring awareness to bowling and Storm.
Or if Storm decided they wanted to partner with the Sharks and build bowling centers.
Well, but that they want existing businesses.
Right.
They don't want a what if.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you went in and you did that, and you would basically say, look, this is a sporting goods company. What are they going to say? They're going to say, well, are you in Dick's? Are you in Sports Authority? Are you on QVC?
Nope.
Yada yada yada.
Nope, and nope.
Hey, let me just interject real quick. Down on lane 61, Josh Chambliss now has the front 9. So our roving reporter will give us a little check-in from the 10th frame in a minute.
So that was kind of my idea.
Cool. Yeah.
You don't have to give up a lot of your company, but to have a Mark Cuban wanting to grow your business in ways that you're not necessarily thinking of.
Absolutely.
A non-bowling.
Or diversifying it into some other areas they see that we don't see.
Yeah, maybe you go to Mavericks games and there's a bowling thing at the intermission every time, and all Dallas Maverick fans get a coupon for a Storm ball, or they get a special lesson plan, or different things like that.
I have a better idea. Let's just get Mark Cuban to buy the PBA.
Well,
and everything else will take care of itself.
I thought about that first, but if somebody went in there trying to do the PBA on Shark Tank, the financial dollars, Mr. Wonderful would totally destroy the PBA.
Correct.
And then basically, it would give a bad name. So I was trying to think of a slam dunk guarantee, because if Cuban got involved with Storm, I bet it wouldn't be long before Cuban would say we should just buy the PBA. So that's kind of my chess play there. You move the pawn, you move the pawn, you move the knight, you grab a couple bishops, and then you strike for the king.
Hey.
Those
are the kind of people you need to have involved. The Richard Bransons, the Mark Cubans, the people that have those, that has that charisma and vision, and they see it and they get it.
Right.
It's just great. All I'm telling you is if I was, because the worst that can happen is you go on the show, you get an offer, you say no, people got awareness to your company, you're out.
Right.
But if something felt right in that room that night or that day.
Yeah, you're pitching Americana, you're pitching bowling,
It could be the very first time you go in to see what they would want to say, and maybe they'd just give you some ideas and you'd walk out and say, oh, okay. I don't know. Crazy idea, but you brought up Shark Tank, and I've been meaning to mention that at some point in time.
That's a good one.
All right, I've got a hypothetical for you both, okay? For you both. You win the Powerball, and you clear $200 million in cash. After taxes. That's what you clear. That's what you put in your pocket. Wes Pye, Mike Flanagan, do you buy the PBA? Wes Pye, you go first.
I'd create an endowment where you would be able to recreate the funds just like they do at universities, where you would never run out of the prize fund money. And also what I would do is, by buying the PBA, I would go to companies that need the exposure, that aren't off the launching pad, and say, look, give us some equity for down the road when we help you grow your business, and we're going to put you on. We're going to be this platform for new companies and new entrepreneurs. Yes, I absolutely. If I had $200 million, not even a freaking question.
Mike Flanagan.
I'm in.
Flanagan, do you buy the PBA?
What's the price?
$10 million.
That's less than the price. That's a third of what Scherzer's going to get in 1 year, for God's sake. Pardon my French. How about Max Scherzer buying in?
That was French. Hey,
he's getting $30 million a year for 7 years. He's making that $210 million. Randy.
The buy is $10 million. Mike Flanagan, you've got $200 million in your pocket. You buy the PBA for 10. You got $190 million. Do you buy the PBA? Yes or no?
It's not a yes or no answer, and I'm really sorry to do that.
No, it is.
No, it's not.
To me, I've got to commit 60 to 70 million.
For me,
to
it
know
is.
I got to get it from where it is now to where I want to see it be.
For me, it is, and I'll tell you why. I buy the PBA for $10 million. I've got $190 million in the bank. I'm going to make 10% on my money. I'm going to clear $19 million a year. All right. I'm going to use
perpetuity.
I'm going to use
perpetuity. $15
million of that for prize fund. I'm going to use the other 4 to have a good time on, and I never touch the principal. It's a no-brainer. These guys will bowl for real money, $15 million a year in prize money. They'll bowl for real money. Bowling will start going this way. We'll get real coaches. We get more TV. We get more exposure, more professionals bowling for more money will equal more participation across the board.
Absolutely. And you haven't even talked about ancillary things you can bring to it. Look at how big fantasy sports are now. And the revenue generation you can have from things like that, where you get the average Joe who could care less about bowling, but all of a sudden you have daily fantasy sports. They just started doing that with MMA.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can activate
now,
it.
I take it to another level. We have what we call the PBA Competition League. However, there are no PBA bowlers allowed. This is a house bowler competition. House bowler to house bowler. We live stream it. Mike Flanagan from Brigham City, Utah can challenge Rudy Kazamakis in New York. Rudy's going to bowl on his house shot. Mike's going to bowl on his house shot. Money is going to be put up. It'll be a 3-game match, winner take all, whatever you want to put up, and you will have your online betting, your DraftKings, so to speak.
I'll give you another good one.
And we'll live stream these matches.
I'll give you another good one. Remember when Tiger Woods did the Tiger Trap thing with Buick, and he stepped out of the woods and said, hey, I'm going to play you this hole for a car.
Nice.
You have a guy, PBA player, whoever it is, he sets up with the bowling center, he says, what league, what team? You got some guy who's missing on the team. All of a sudden, here strolls in Walter Ray, Pete Weber, Norm Duke, whoever.
Let's just use storm staffers.
They're bowling on that pair. Oh, by the way, you beat me tonight. You're winning $1,000, or I'm giving money to your son or daughter's college fund.
That's a really cool idea. That's a great idea.
Because then you set it up to where now you're doing things for charity.
Yep.
Look at what the PGA Tour does. They get people so behind them because they're just not doing cause marketing. I mean, Storm is very involved in cause marketing. You're taking it to another level.
Right.
You're getting real people engaged in a real activity that touches them in their neighborhood, and that's what it takes, in my opinion.
I agree.
You guys want to know why I'm not necessarily a yes or no answer on this PBA thing?
Yes. Very interested, because I would thought you would be in like with 2 feet.
The last thing I would want to do is get involved with something that needs so much help and support and the right person running it that even though from a financial standpoint, there's no guarantee on that 10% return, even though it sounds like a great thing. I would want to make sure that I had a plan in place and people behind the plan. Doesn't mean I have to have everything figured out, but I'd have to have a few pieces in place for that to make sense. It has nothing to do with my pocketbook. It has to do with the future of the PBA for 150 years past when I pass away.
But don't you think the future of bowling is directly related or reflected upon whatever happens with the PBA Tour? For example, no. Oh, you don't? So you think things like this and bowling ball sales for our company and all of that stuff stays exactly the same if there's no PBA Tour?
No, but it's not the largest issue.
Can bowling survive? Can bowling not only survive, but can it grow and get bigger without professional bowling on network television?
It can survive. It could get bigger, but I'm going to tell you where I'm going with this. Customer service in bowling centers.
Good luck with that happening.
Well, let me put it this way. Going with exactly what you said, because we've worked in bowling centers, so I know exactly where you're coming at from that direction. And talk about the PBA for a second. If you know there's a commitment where that can be generational, like we're discussing right here, where you're making a commitment for an endowment or a renewing fund. So now, if you're 10 or 12 years old and you're considering the sports, like, hey, wait a minute, bowling is now on my radar screen. I'm just not thinking the stick and ball sports. You think bowling is now going to be on that, but you've got to make that commitment because we've missed a couple of generations, and we got to get them back. We got to get them back involved again, so we help build those players. Now, we're talking two different things with bowling here. You're talking about more the commercial side, insofar as it being a recreation, a leisure activity. I'm leaning, like Randy, more about the sports side, and to me, bowling is unique in the fact.
I'm talking about the sports side.
Okay. To me, when it comes to the bowling center operations, unless there's a reason or an activity for people to want to get better, to want to be like the heroes, to want to be like the guys on television, to want to be that, you can look it up in history. Every civilization that doesn't have the people that they want to aspire to be like, they fall short. They get stagnant, and it goes away.
Can I just add something to what you just said? So you take that and now put a group of professional bowlers, say 20 of them, 30 of them, that are now making over $1 million a year, making big, big money, that are still just as approachable then as they are now. People now, all of a sudden, it's like the Mark Cuban syndrome. Here's a billionaire, right?
Right.
Who is so approachable. He shows up with no entourage. He's in T-shirts and jeans, and he's nice to everybody. And you leave there saying, oh, my God, Mark Cuban's he's my new hero. You put these superstar bowlers out there that are already, number one, already approachable, already good with the public because we have to be, otherwise no one will watch. And now all of a sudden you start putting millions of dollars in their pocket, and they're the same exact way, treat the general public the same exact way, sign all the autographs that they're used to signing, take all the pictures, bowl all the pro-ams. What's going to happen? You're building more heroes because now these people are going to be like, wow, this guy's making all this money, and he took out the time to hang out with us and have a picture and sign autographs. Meanwhile, the PGA Tour and golf in general, golf is struggling.
Yes.
The PGA Tour isn't, because all the CEOs of big companies and big businesses, guess what? They belong to country clubs. They're going to put their money into the PGA Tour. But you try getting an autograph from a PGA professional. Good luck with that. And when you do get one, you think they'd even look at you in the eye and say, hey, man, have a great day, or thanks, or nothing.
Yeah.
So we've already got the heroes. Now all we got to do is fill their pockets with money. The sport will go this way. Trust me.
I think there's got to be.
I have a vision.
Yeah,
I like what you're saying.
See, I think there's got to be a group, whoever this is. But you've got you touched on it, Mike, about I've got to be able to be willing to think about what's going to happen after my passing going forward. And I'm going to botch this, but I want to make sure I get the point out. There's a Greek proverb about a wise man being the man that plants a tree, knowing he will never sit underneath the shade of it. Okay, that means you're forward thinking enough that it's bigger than you. It's bigger. You see the bigger vision of what's good for mankind or humanity or for whatever your endeavor is. And that's what we're talking about here. Because let's face it, we got to be talking about where's bowling going to be. I mean, when I was a little kid in the 60s, bowling was on 3 nights a week on network television. And bowling was doing much better. Don Carter, first $1 million athlete. I mean, but then you had it invert with what happened with golf.
Bowling and golf are parallel at one time.
Absolutely. They were playing for $3,000 first place on television on golf events, and bowling was 10,000 plus.
Right.
This is the 60s. I guess what I'm trying to say is, but my scenario, your question, yes, I'm committed to not just 10, but more like 60 with a returning endowment.
Sure.
But also on the other side, I start buying bowling centers where I employ those guys when they're not bowling just like the PGA Tour built their own
TPC
places.
Golf, now it's PBA centers.
Bingo.
I think it's a great idea.
And you teach and you reach
I think
forward.
it's a great idea.
And you're committed to your charities in your
Yep,
community.
absolutely.
You're committed to your universities to
Absolutely.
bring those players up. You have internship programs where they learn sales and management. Look at all the different businesses that are underneath a roof of a bowling center.
Yep.
All right, guys. This is the third game of the 2015 Military Bowling Championships. It's the last squad, Wednesday 4 p.m. squad. We're talking about some really big things here in bowling. You're continuing to watch the doubles portion of this tournament. Mike Flanagan, Wes Pye, Randy Pedersen bringing you the action. Guys, I got to chime in on this for a second. Forget the PBA for a minute, because I'm totally on board with the PBA, and as cool as it sounds to own the PBA, great. And do I think I can help? Yeah. But here's the bigger issue, in my opinion. This is the big issue. Currently, right now, a majority of bowling centers in this country, if someone walks in the door and they want to bowl, the bowling center cleanliness is subpar. The bowling balls, it's tough to find one that fits. They're not organized in a proper way. When they go up to the front desk, it's confusing on how to pay for bowling. It's time bowling. It's by the game. They don't know how to do it. There's 40 lanes in a normal center, 32 lanes. There's one cash register. Everybody wants to bowl at the same exact time. You get busy at the same time. You have to stand in line. You get put off. While you're there, your shirt gets black. You didn't like the way the burger tasted. The beer was warm. The guy at the front desk didn't seem like he even cared about you whatsoever. These are the bigger issues with bowling, because the PBA could be on TV and talk about how great everything is and these PBA superstars are accessible. Then you go to a location and you just get so turned off. And I'm not talking about a place like the Orleans. I'm not talking about Brooklyn Bowl. I'm not talking about John Lucido's place, Sun Valley Lanes. I'm talking about these bowling centers that are out there in America, and there's a bunch of them. Hold on one second, Wes. Okay. So here's the deal. So that is a huge problem, all right? So in order to save bowling, I believe that you have to do some stuff like Amazon.com. You have to think of really crazy stuff to win people over. So just a couple of quick things. How about you come to my bowling center and you meet a hostess that we pay up at the front, the hostess with the mostess, and that person is talking to you or host about what's going to happen in that bowling center, like how it works. And how about in my bowling center, part of the advertising is we don't rent the same pair of shoes twice in the same day. It has to go through a refurbishing process that we do overnight, where the rental shoes are completely disinfected and they get given to you in a bag, and you return them in a bag and drop them in this thing, and then they go through this process, and we advertise the process because a lot of people don't want to put their feet into shoes that somebody else just wore that got 2 little sprays of the spray can, okay? In my bowling center, how about instead of having to hunt around for a bowling ball, instead of having a redemption center, you go up to this area where I have someone where you put your hand on an iPad, and it measures your hand, and we have about 10 different drills, and we carry bowling balls in 6 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 pounds, 12 pounds, 14, and 15, no other weights. And basically, you put in your weight, how much you weigh, and it gives you an idea of how much, what weight ball you should use, a recommendation. That bowling ball comes to you, and it's already been cleaned and wiped out. Like when you go to the grocery store and you have a cart, you know how you get the little sanitary wipes because you don't want to get germs? How about those that's already been wiped, but you get handed a couple of wipes and you wipe out the thumb hole, the finger holes. The person says, yeah, that's going to fit you just fine. Is it too heavy? Is it too light? Okay. Then when you go down to put in your name into the scoring system, you actually get assistance, but what you have to do is you have to sign up for an account, and it's logged to your email address. You don't put in your name Randy. You put in your email address and your 4-digit PIN, and then it brings up your name. And if it's the first time you ever bowled, it's glowing up there, and all the employees there know that it's your first time ever bowling in the center, and they make an announcement. And then every time you come back, all you do is you put in your digits and your PIN number, and then here's what happens, okay? The 3 of us go bowling, and we bowl 2 games. On the Tuesday after, an email comes to me that says, hey, Mike, thanks for visiting Flanagan. We hope you enjoyed your time with Wes and Randy. And while you were at Flanagan, we just want you to know that all the people that bowled last week, you scored in the 80th percentile out of everyone that bowled there. You're a really good bowler. And we've got leagues designed for you, but we want you to come back, and we want to see how you can do. Or how about you bowl really bad, and it says, hey, you scored in the 20th percentile. We have a free Learn to Bowl class every Thursday night. We include 2 slices of pizza and soda, and you can come meet with our instructor, so-and-so. And the instructors are those bowlers in a bowling center that are scratch bowlers that want to bowl for free all the time. So you say, you know what, Bob the bowler, we're going to let you bowl for free because you bowl 2 leagues here. But here's the deal. You have to host 2 of my Learn to Bowl classes this month. And we're going to give you the PowerPoint presentation to present to the group of the people that scored in the lower of the 20th percentile. And then Bob's going to help them bowl. And we're going to run those at off-peak times, but it's free for people to come. Those are the sorts of things that I feel like have to happen. And then here's the other thing. How about when you're down there bowling for the very first time, or when you go up to get that house ball, how about that boy or girl says, how would you like to get a free $50 gift card to Flanagan? And they go, well, of course I'd like to have a free $50 gift card to Flanagan. And you say, well, here's what you can do. For $79.99, you can purchase a bowling ball that's drilled just like the one that we have. And we have them in stock, and they're pre-drilled. It's an introductory ball, okay? And it's in my pro shop, okay? And with that ball, for $79.99 when they buy it, I'm going to give them a $50 gift card to come back and use whenever they want on food or drink or bowling or whatever. And I'm going to put them into a plastic ball to get started. And I'm going to know that they bought that ball, and they're going to have it. And then they're going to get an email later that week that says, hey, come in and use your ball again. Here's a couple free games. And, oh, by the way, how about this bag? Why don't you use your $50 gift card on this bag? And then start growing it that way. And you're constantly target marketing them, texting them, sending them messages, things like that. And then what you can do from there is you build these people into bowlers. They get into it. You start making them aware of college scholarships for their kids, things like that. And then you turn them on the professional tour. If I had something like that in place, I would buy the PBA Tour, and I would use the PBA Tour to market those particular bowling centers and eventually have 2,000 of them in the U.S. That's kind of my deal there. I'd need to have that in place. And that was if I won $200 million in the lottery.
To me, that sounds like a fantastic marketing program and plan to where you could actually franchise that idea and those concepts and use.
Well, all the cash register systems and the way that you get contact and everything, I would go to Bowl Expo and sell that to other proprietors.
I just want to know, where's Flanagan?
Yeah, no kidding. I want to sign up.
I want to sign up for that place.
Yeah, me too. Hey, I agree with you.
Flanagan sounds great.
Yeah. But
you're right, though. I mean, and he makes a great point, and a lot of great things you can do. The bottom line is the whole message that I heard was you need to run it like a professional business. I mean, like a real business. You know, if you were to go out to eat at any restaurant and nobody greeted you, and when they did, they were rude to you, you'd never go back.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Exactly. You know, the thing we're also discussing is the fact that we are all traditionalists our own way, of the way we grew up with our eyes to the sport of bowling. And now the shift we're seeing, the shift you read the Bowler's Journal, one of our sponsors, Cyber Report that comes out on the internet. You're talking about the latest, greatest family entertainment center that comes out. And bowling is one of many, many things that are taking place there. And we all grew up with a focus on the bowling, on the sport, on the league, on the tournament, on the activities we could do, the pro shop, that's how we were all born and bred.
Right.
And we kind of see that going away, and we're trying to figure out a way to save it. The one little example I was going to give you, and there's just a little bit of a caveat here, is when poker hit their boom with what they call the moneymaker effect.
Right.
All of a sudden, you saw all these poker rooms all across the country getting better. Why is that? Because people demanded better service. So when it comes to Flanagan, until people say, you know what, I'm not coming to your place.
Right.
I'm going to Flanagan because Flanagan gives me the features and benefits and services that makes me feel comfortable, and I want to be around.
Right. And so, you know, when it came down to the thing with the oil pattern and short oil, and everybody had to conform. Otherwise, you were going to go across the street to bowl at the place that had the short oil and the high scores, as opposed to over here at this guy's bowling center that said, you know what, I'm not doing that. And so what ended up happening was you either had to conform or you went out of business.
That's right.
Well, now everybody puts out an easy shot. So what differentiates the two centers? Exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
One other thing that I failed to mention that is a key part of this Flanagan concept is right now there's a huge problem. People get off work at 5 o'clock, and there's certain busy periods when they come into the bowl, and there's only one cash register. Sometimes there's two. So at Flanagan, basically, if let's say the three of us tonight wanted to go bowl tonight, and you wanted to bring your girl, you had some buddies here, I had some buddies here, and we decided we wanted to go bowl. Right now, we should be able to go online, and we should be able to go on there, and we should be able to see what lanes are green and which ones are red. The ones that are red are already rented, and the ones that are green we can buy. And I can go online and I can buy lane 21, and you can buy lane 22. And I pay for it with a credit card, and when I walk in the door, I go straight to my lane. My hostess is there saying, oh, Mr. Pedersen, Mr. Flanagan, yeah, you're here early? Well, let me bring you a Coke for right now because you're 30 minutes early. And here's our little holding room for the folks that are waiting, which is a nice, attractive bar, snack bar, or something like that. I had to figure that out later. But you book everything online, and you pay in advance. So then that way when you get there, you don't have to worry about how much is it. Do you have hourly? Do you have by the game? Okay, all right, all of us are going to buy shoes. Yeah, individual transactions. Here's my debit card. Slide it, slide it, slide it. No, it's all prepaid, all done deal online. You know, red and green. It's way better.
You're talking very similar to what they've started doing in movie theaters.
Yes.
Where you have your reserved seating. I get to go in so I can sit where I want to.
You don't have to get there 30 minutes early.
No.
Time is money to people now.
I mean, I'll give you an example. In Layton, Utah, where I live, one of the movie theaters put in loungers, okay, lounging recliners, motorized. I pay $11 for a ticket to go there instead of $7.50 across the way because I want to be comfortable. I enjoy that experience. So you're right on the money. You're right on the money. And the thing is, I know when I go in there, I got my showtime, I got my seat, I'm ready to go. You're talking the same thing with the bowling lanes, reserving it for my showtime or my showing or my period of time that I want those lanes.
How many people want to go to? How many people want to go to a bowling center, not knowing if you're going to be able to get a lane? With your family. Yeah. And a lot of people assume bowling centers are packed. If we went down to Las Vegas Boulevard tonight, and just started randomly sampling and talking to people and say, "When's the last time you bowled? Why don't you bowl?" We're going to hear, "Oh, I can't ever get a ball to fit. Oh, I don't want to put those shoes on. Too long a wait." It's not fun. My hand hurt when I was done.
I used to bowl in a league. Oh, I used to watch Nelson Burton Jr. and Chris Schenkel on television. Randy, if I had a dollar for every time I heard that sitting on an airplane next to some really well-dressed business guy saying, "Oh, you're in bowling. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool." Man, I remember when I used to bowl or I used to watch it on television. There's been a big disconnect. I agree.
So anyway, I know that PBA question was a good question.
Let's put your program together. That's a fantastic
I see these other
program.
Things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go draw up the blueprints for planning.
Randy's on his way to get an architect started on Flanagan right now.
Yeah, I just think that technology type of deal, you got to have that anymore if you want this thing to really start booming. If you want to start making a big difference.
Well, people want to feel welcome. They want to go places where they feel welcome, they feel comfortable, and they're willing to bring their families in.
AMF was kind of onto something about food and beverage, hospitality.
Yes.
Problem is you got to be a hybrid. You got to know bowling too.
Absolutely.
You can't just know food and beverage.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because you've got to know about the product. Just like if you're in the movie business, you got to make sure you're able to deliver whatever that core product is. If it's a movie, if it's food, if it's bowling, whatever it is.
I watched a food and beverage-minded general manager go down on a wood approach when there was a spill and tried to clean it with Windex.
Well, that's training. What you discussed in a lot of the things, it's training and attitude and also passion. I mean, and that's it's a shame. Mike, you've got my head spinning about a lot of those ideas, and I really like what you had to say. But well, I would still do the PBA Tour because I kind of believe
I would too.
If you build it, they will come because people will want to emulate their heroes, and they'll demand better service and better facilities to bowl in.
I love the PBA, and the guys need to have more money to bowl for. I'm all for that. Amen. Totally.
Amen.
On board.
Yes, sir.
But I'll tell you what will drive people being interested in the PBA Tour is satisfied customers in bowling centers.
Oh, absolutely, because they'll have a good experience. They'll look at
bowling will make them feel good, and when they see it on TV, they won't turn it off because they felt good about what happened when they went bowling. If they get turned off in a bowling center and bowling's on TV, they turn it off the television.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all psychological.
Absolutely. And I tend to believe that the closer any activity is that someone can identify with the skill set, be it if it's darts, which is hugely popular in Europe, on television and in person. When people feel that they can do it, and poker's done the same thing, I referenced that earlier, bowling is right in there. Bowling is one of those cradle-to-grave sports where you can have from 8 to 80 and everybody in between participating. There's not any other activity you can do that, where you can have everybody from the great-great-grandchild to the great-great-grandparents there participating in the same environment.
The perfect bowling center is an FEC that brings people in to a nice, beautiful establishment, people that have money. And when they come in for some sort of gimmick bowling, or they come in for some sort of company party.
Right.
And while they're there, they are convinced that bowling is cool. And their 2-hour visit, they're contacted over and over again about coming to the bowling center. They're given offers and deals that are all tiered based off of how many times you contacted them.
Right.
And your goal is to get them in the door again.
Absolutely. You got to keep pinging people.
There's been studies done, and I don't know them exactly. I'm a marketing-minded guy, but a lot of times I don't save this stuff. But there's some stat out there that once somebody comes in one time, your chance of them returning is something. But once they've been there 2 times, it goes up dramatically.
Yes. Yes. And also, what you're trying to build is a call to action. And you're only going to get that on a product or an activity whenever you continue to have those touches. And that's what I thought. I even sent a message to Tom Clark a couple weeks ago. The number of touches in pings, if you will, that they sent out setting up the World Championship, World Series of Bowling World Championship television show. Every day they had an email or a little piece about it and one of the finalists that was going to be on. It was very well done, because in recent history, I can't remember that.
No.
And just the fact that they keep reminding us. And now this week, the World Bowling Tour Finals are going to be on. And had I not gotten some of those emails or had those communications or seen it on their website, I wouldn't know they were going from ESPN to ESPN2. I would have tuned in to watch bowling, and I'd have missed it because I wouldn't have known they were on a different channel.
Bush44, thanks for the comment about the best houses he's been to. Has been really good food. I think a lot of bowling center proprietors get dinged in their league officer meetings. The beer needs to be cheaper. The burgers need to be cheaper. So they listen to all that. So they go to Cisco or U.S. Foods and say, I need a cheaper boat to put my food in. We don't need to put a piece of wax paper in there anymore.
Let me put it this way. I've had the privilege of traveling a lot around Europe. In Europe, there are bowling centers that the restaurants are first class. I mean, Ronald Chandra, his bowling centers in the Netherlands, he has sauté. I mean, he has an unbelievable sauté with peanut butter sauce. There's a little bowling center in a town in the Netherlands called Oosterhout. It's called Merlin's. And the restaurant, which is connected to the bowling center bar and activity area, is second to none with the tapas and the menu and everything they have. I mean, people would literally come in and come to the facility to go to dinner. I mean, so it exists out there. What I'm saying, Mike, is those places exist. It's just a fact of that we need to embrace those and learn those lessons that are going on around us in other parts of the world to help the products that we're trying to promote here.
Another concept that I kind of like is, wouldn't it be nice if every bowling center had a Buffalo Wild Wings attached to it?
Yeah, or some type of activity where you had a meeting place or a meeting point. Absolutely, I'd buy into that. I'll give you another one. There was a bowling center. I'm trying to remember the name of it, and I know somebody maybe on the live chat will remember it, but it was in Southern California, and I'm going back about 15 years ago, about 10 to 15 years ago, and their concept, it was built in the shape of an X, and one wing was like a health club facility, and another wing was the bowling center facility, and I'm trying to remember the other two, but the point, it was an entire complex. I think it was like indoor handball or fitness center, I mean, what have you. But my point is, it was multi-use, but the bowling area was focused on bowling.
Yeah.
And you could buy a membership to where it was Oglethorpe, Ogletree, something like that. I can't remember it. But Mike, I think there's a lot of good ideas, and there's a lot of really smart, terrific people in bowling with all the different entities from Brunswick to Bowmore AMF, and they're searching for that answer too. They're willing to make that investment, and hey, you know, we work with a consumer products company, and we're certainly jaded because we're all about the sport part of the industry, and that's something we certainly want to do.
Yeah, I'm just recently removed from running bowling centers, so that's why my outlook's a little different.
Well, I was a proprietor about 30 years ago in the early 80s. So I certainly knew that when we were in the business in Atlanta, and the first facility we had, me and 3 partners, the whole thing we did is we realized it had to be clean, it had to be attractive, it had to be painted, the bathrooms had to be clean, the parking lot had to be clean, the lane conditions need to be consistent. And this was a bowling center built back in the 1960s. But we also went out and catered to the better than average player because we wanted there to be that place for that sport bowler, not necessarily just the recreational player, which we certainly embraced, and we treated them with the same respect and hospitality. But we wanted to have the tournaments. You know, we had, matter of fact, Bob Hart was here this week. He bowled in that center, Tucker Bowling Center. It's no longer around, but it hosted the first senior regional that the PBA ever put on, and this is back 1984, 85. So I'm going back about 30 years. But I guess my point is, those things are out there, and there's a lot of great proprietors out there that are very committed, and they spend tireless hours because they believe in the sport and the game and the passion. And I think there's a happy medium to have a hybrid where you can have the recreation side and you can have the sports side and embrace both of them with many different programs and ideas, because all of us today, a lot of us travel for a living, you know, or we don't want to make a large commitment of time or a chunk of our time because it's very precious to everybody. But when we go somewhere, we want to have a quality experience.
Well, Chris Shaw, by the way, here on 17 and 18's got 279 going here at the 2015 Military Bowling Championships. 3rd game. One more game to go after this. Wes Pye, Mike Flanagan. Randy Pedersen's out on the concourse right now doing some PR. One other thing, too, I was thinking about, Wes, is I think it's hard for a current entity to change drastically, like a Bowlmore AMF, and now that they've bought Brunswick, you know, there's just too much to change. You almost got to start from scratch and start with one and build it up.
Right.
But here's one thing that I've kind of thought about. If I won the lottery, and this is how all this started, was Randy saying win the lottery. If I won the lottery, I'd open up a facility, and in my facility, I would have no leagues. Now, you probably say, Jesus, Mike, what are you talking about here?
That's okay. Let's see where you're going, my friend.
All right, so you just mentioned a traveler, okay? Yeah. I travel. Currently, right now, I do not bowl league in Utah. Mm-hmm. I do not bowl league, right. And I enjoy to bowl competitively.
Right.
Why am I not in a league? Because I travel too much.
Correct.
Okay, so how about this? How about in this particular bowling center, league is every night, Sunday through Thursday, and you pick what night you want to bowl. You just call the center or pre-reserve that you're going to bowl league that night. So league starts at 6:30. We condition the lanes at 5:45, and you bowl against everybody in the center for that week. Mm-hmm. If you want to bowl team, you get 5 guys together and you enter a team event. Costs a little bit extra to get in the team portion. You want to bowl doubles? You can get doubles with whoever you want, and you bowl for that week. Let's say there's a week when your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever's traveling. You might want to bowl league 3 nights that week.
Right.
So you call the center and say, hey, you got any openings Tuesday night for league? I want to bowl. I want to sign up. Me and my buddy so-and-so are going to bowl. And every week you've just got people signing up for league, and it's listed on the website. Now, if somebody wants to bowl 36 weeks in a row as a 5-person team on a particular night, guess what?
They just lock it in.
They just lock it in, and they're good to go for that particular night.
A little deposit, and away they go.
Everything's ran by the house. There's payouts for the month. There's payout for the year. You know, you can put up in the front our bowler of the year, you know, and you accumulate points the more you bowl.
Right.
Somebody might come
like
in
a ranking
bowl,
system.
Somebody might bowl 150 times. And guess what? We have no season. It doesn't start in August,
right,
and it doesn't end in April. It's a calendar year. January 1st is the first week of league. The last week of league is December 31st. That's the last day of league. So at the end of the year, you got all these people trying to get in to get bowler of the year, and they're trying to bowl multiple nights. And now you can bowl as many times as you want. Like right now, after streaming this tournament this week, I want to go back to Utah and go bowl league next week.
Right.
But there's nothing in the cards for me to be able to do that. I'd have to go bowl open play. Well, what's in it for me with open play?
Right.
What's in it for me? I'm a competitive guy. I want to put a little money on the line. I want to compete. Yeah. And guess what? If I bowl good this week at league and I see myself on the website, I'm like, oh, my God. Out of the 1,150 singles league entries, I finished 24th this week.
Right.
And I cashed for $30.
Well, you know, what you're bringing up, and I'll give you a parallel. You talked about Buffalo Wild Wings a few minutes ago. Buffalo Wild Wings, you can go in and do their buzz time sports. You can do their trivia. You can play poker, blackjack, what have you. And you can have the playmaker. You're locked into their system insofar as having your password and your name and accumulating your points. So there's systems out there that embrace it, not necessarily in bowling, but embrace exactly what you're talking about. I don't have to go in every Tuesday night, but if I want to play a certain trivia time game or I want to play a certain event, what have you, I know what day and time that is because
279, Chris Shaw, by the way.
Hey, fantastic. That's
279 with that Optimus. Looks great.
Right on the home page, right in front of us.
Looks awesome.
Hey, that gives him, what is that, 7, that's game 3, right? Gives him 752 for the first 3, if I did my math correctly.
Yep, and his partner has 369 after 2. But yeah, totally, Wes. But those are the kind of things that I think winning the lottery, as Randy said, you open a place that does some things like that.
Yes. Or you come up with the concepts where you work on it where you can help retrofit and bring some of those concepts in. I mean, for example, Kids Bowl Free, huge concept right now being, that's working really well for a lot of bowling centers in the summertime to help build traffic and build activity.
Hey, Randy, I got one for you I want to run by you.
Hang on. It's going to be a cold ride home. I just gave my storm jacket to one of the military bowlers.
You know what? I did that at the PBA World Championship, one of the World Series of bowling shows. Gave away my jacket. That's pretty cool.
Storm jacket is now gone. I'm short sleeved, and it's like 50 degrees outside.
We'll get you taken care of,
Randy, I was just talking about...
I got another one at home.
There you go.
I was just talking about a bowling center. If I opened my own bowling center, I would have no leagues. And I said, now that sounds crazy, but the reason why I'd have no leagues is basically I would have league, but it would be Sunday through Thursday ran by the house, and you could sign up for whatever night of league you ever wanted to.
Appointment bowling.
So, yeah, so if you had 5 guys that you wanted to bowl league with every Tuesday, you'd just lock it in for the year, okay? But here's the thing. When you bowl against the people against all the different nights. Keep my pattern the same all week. You go on the website. Hey, we entered team event. We went up against 212 teams this week. We finished 15th. We pick up our checks next week.
Love it.
How about this?
I love it.
Right now, I'm not bowling in a league in Utah because I travel too much.
Right.
Right now, I just got done streaming all weekend or all week. Right. I want to go home and bowl. There's nothing for me.
Right.
But you know what? I could call the bowl on my drive home tomorrow and be like, hey, what do you got open for league next week? I want to come in and get in some games.
Yep.
I get in. I say, hey, me and Kim are going to get in doubles. Hey, so-and-so in the league, Schlim, Ernest, we're going to bowl team event this week. Let's give me an extra $3 each. We're going to enter ourselves in a team event. You have all these alibi things going on.
Hey.
Yeah. No, I'll give you a good example. There's a website called opentable.com that if you go to a particular city, what you can do is you can find out if there's in a particular area of town, you're looking for a particular type of cuisine. You can see if they have seating times and what have you. You could adapt that to bowl exactly the way you're talking about with your appointment bowling concept. You say, hey, is there a lane open just like there being a table open? And hey, I've got a party of 2, I got a party of 4, and I want to be there from this time to this time.
You could run super brackets for the week. Everybody puts in $3. It's a 128-man bracket.
You guys are talking about revolutionizing the way leagues are currently being done today.
Well, and if you did this, if you went into a town with a bowling center that's immaculate, that's beautiful, everybody wants to go there, the food's amazing, it's not overpriced, but you do get your price because it's good food, you got good chefs, the whole 9 yards, and then you told people that they didn't have to start in August and end in April. Your bowling league starts January 1st, and there's a point system, and it ends December 31st. And online, you can see where you rank as the bowler of the year. People are going to be incentivized to come in and bowl 4 or 5 times a week in league.
I agree.
Exactly.
Or whenever they can.
I agree.
Your wife goes out of town for the week. Well, me and my boys are going to bowl league 5 nights in a row.
Right.
The rest of the year, I bowl 1 night a week.
Right.
And all the other bowling centers in town would be scared to death because they would end up losing all of their league bowlers to your house.
And the reason why it's not done that way is because they want to lock people in from August to April to guarantee that center that income.
Right. So they can sit back and not work as hard.
Correct.
In my opinion, and I'm not trying to throw it out there.
I agree.
But now here's one other fancy little part of this whole thing. There's a place in St. Louis called Fast Eddie's. It's $2.99 for a steak kebab, 99 cents for a burger, 49-cent fries, but all the beer is expensive, okay? They do gangbuster business. What if on the second floor of Flanagan you had like a diamond lounge at a casino?
Right.
A really nice area where you served food at cost, okay?
Right.
But the workers work for amazing tips up there, okay? And you have steak kebabs and different things like that. The only way that you can go to that lounge and eat dinner and enjoy it, and there's flat screen TV, Super Bowl parties, all that stuff, is if you're a league bowler. It's the only way you can get in.
You got to be a frequent. You got to be a frequent customer.
You have
or
to,
you've got to buy an extremely expensive membership.
Yeah, and basically, you could be like, hey, where are we going to go to dinner tonight? Oh, let's go to the bowl upstairs at Flanagan because it's the cheapest. We're VIPs there.
Yeah.
And you go there, and it becomes this exclusive club people want to be a part of,
Right.
and the only way that you can is you have to bowl.
Well, I'll give you another good example of that. The Caesars Entertainment, you know, and all these other, you know, a lot of them have programs where you can amass points over a period of time, or you can amass points in a very short period of time based on your activities.
Right.
To have. So there's two different ways. Let's say you're a guy that only comes into the bowling center 4 times a year, but when you come in, you want all the accoutrements and everything. Okay, boom, we have this program for you. On the other hand, let's say Randy and I live around the corner, and we want to be in there every
Right.
Sunday afternoon to watch NFL, or we want to watch the NASCAR,
So let's
but we want to bowl Tuesday night with our,
Sure.
with our buddies and pals to hang out and goof off.
Let's say you're on a waiting list.
So you can have two. I mean, you can address all these different.
Let's say you're on a waiting list on the weekend. So the host says, hey, you got a big group here. We have a VIP special club upstairs. I'm going to take you up there on a guest pass right now.
Yes.
Check this out. And they're like, oh, my God, $2.99 steak kebabs, and they're amazing, and blah, blah, blah. This place is awesome. And they're talking to the people up there, and they got guest passes on. They're like, oh, you're a guest? Yeah, well, we're regular members because we bowl here. You're kidding me. All I got to do is bowl here once a week. I can come up here and take advantage of this cheap food and this amazing environment. And meanwhile, these people are waiting on a lane, and time's just going by, and then their little pager goes off and starts buzzing. Your lane's ready. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of in you know, another parallel in another industry. Virgin Airlines is called their clubhouses, and they have these unbelievable clubhouses. If you've never seen it, it blows away anything. I mean, I went to one in Boston. I went to one in London Heathrow Airport. But my point is, it is unbelievable. It has everything from computers to areas where I could lay down and take a nap if I wanted to. I could go and take a shower. I have custom-made food. I have a bar, and you know why I get access to it? Because I'm flying on their airline. Not necessarily the most expensive ticket, but I'm a frequent flyer with Delta, which co-brands with them. So my point is, those activities and opportunities are out there in other industries, and if we just put this thing together and build this hybrid, say, okay, we're going to make these places like the Virgin Atlantic or Virgin Airlines clubhouses. And if you ever get a chance to look up, it's incredible. I mean, it's on multiple levels. It's not some shoebox thing where you're getting some nuts and stale chips and crap like that. I mean, this is like
that's what I'm used to.
Yeah, you sit down. You sit down. You sit down and say, "Oh, Mr. Pye, we see this. We have barbecue sliders this evening with some French fries, or we have this, or we have." What I'm trying to say is, what you're talking about is done in other industries. We've just got to be wise enough to pick these pieces and put them together.
We have to catch up, don't we? Don't
Exactly.
we have to catch up
Yes.
with the 21st century? I mean, don't
Yeah.
we have to kind of
Yes.
step up our game?
And that's hence why I'm into live streaming. It's stepping up, covering bowling tournaments as best as we can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Burkhart
Absolutely.
feels the same way, and a lot of other people do. And I just feel like if people, Brunswick, all these other people, they open brand new bowling facilities, and everybody wants to go there the first 6 months. And then what happens like 2 years later?
You're tired of it.
Not nearly as busy as it was.
Right. That's right.
And all I'm saying is you open a dynamite, beautiful place, you serve great food, and you contact these people to death to where they feel like if they don't go there, they're missing out on something.
I agree.
Or when they're sitting down and they're making those decisions with their buddies or their pals or significant other, which you've done we've all done 1,000 times. But where do you want to go tonight? Or what kind of food do you want to have
Randy
tonight?
asked me to go somewhere with him tonight because he feels special being there.
The reason why I stay where I stay is because I know the bartender at the Mexican restaurant.
Recognition.
I know the chef.
Recognition.
I know the general manager. I know one of the other bartenders. When I go there and I check in, I feel special. So I'm going to go ahead and drive the 20 to 30 minutes each way because they make me feel like they want me there.
Right.
When I go to another center, and I'm not going to mention its name, the staff is so rude there that I have refused to get a bottled water. I don't eat there. I won't ask for anything. I don't use a player's card. I don't do anything there because of the treatment.
Right.
It's unbelievable how bad they treat people there.
Let me tell you what I'm talking about with bowling centers. Last Saturday night, might have been Friday actually, Friday night, Kim and I got a text from our friends Nate and Elizabeth, and they said, we are bowling tonight. And we decided to stop by. Cosmic Bowling was going on. There were about 8 dark lanes, and they were 20 people deep on a waiting list. They had lane 9. Lane 8 was empty. The time bowling had expired. There were balls in the gutters that people had hit racks and everything else, and they were not cleared. There are tons of people bowling in street shoes. They're not turning over the waiting list appropriately. So I walked up to the manager who was walking around and said, sir, is there any way that my girlfriend and I could bowl for an hour on lane number 8, $20 or something, we'll come up and get some shoes, can we rent it by the hour? He said, you don't understand, we're on a waiting list right now. And I said, okay. I said, are you going to get out these 8 dark lanes that are sitting there? And he goes, oh yeah, I guess we should do that. I said, so I can't rent this lane right now and give you a $20 bill and pay you $20 and take over this lane for an hour next to my friends. No, you can't, we're on a waiting list. 7 minutes went by, still nothing, and the lane said 65 minutes of time remaining, and the people were gone, which means the person at the front desk queued it in for the wrong amount of time because they were so done with bowling that they just left, okay? Who does that when they get free extra time? They stay the whole time?
Right.
So I walked down there and started bowling. I bowled for the next 2 hours on that lane. They kept adding more time on my lane thinking I was there bowling and like I had paid or something. People sat around and left because they never got their lanes, and I never paid a dime, and I bowled for 2 hours till my hand hurt. That's what's happening all over the country.
Yep.
And this is a really nice facility. I don't want to name the facility, but it's a really nice facility.
What state?
It was in Utah. It was
I know
a
which
really
one it is.
nice facility.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yep.
So, Wes, if you're interested, Saturday night, let's go there, and you can witness this, and then you'll be like,
I'm in.
wow.
I'm in. Because I'll tell you what, having been a proprietor, I can tell you right now, when we would have, and we were very fortunate. We had 5 zone.
And real quick, folks, the reason why we didn't go around with the camera is I've been keeping my eyes peeled for strings, and scores have dissipated quite a bit this block for some reason.
Yes.
And I haven't seen really high scores.
Right.
But I am keeping my eye on it. Over here to the left, we do have a string of 5. Just to let everybody know, we are keeping an eye on that. We're filling some time with some really cool bowling conversation. Wes Pye, Randy Pedersen, and myself up here in the booth. We are in the 4th game, the final game of doubles today here at the Military Bowling Championships at the Orleans.
And actually up on lane 17 and 18, one of the players we've noticed that has a very good scoring pace, Chris Shaw, has 752 for his first 3, and he's out strike spare right now. So he could certainly have a string of strikes and shoot 1,000 for 4 here. So we do have one of the better players and better scores on camera on the home lanes.
Yeah, and he is carrying everything.
And I think he's throwing an Optimus, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Looks like it, sure does.
Optimus Maximus. Love it. Hey, Chris.
It's that
Hey, Chris.
it's that water you had. It's that water you had. Hey, as we set the stage, welcome back to the 2015 Military Bowling Championships here at Boyd Gaming Facility, the Orleans Bowling Center and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. The sister bowling center that's hosting the other part of the event is over at the Gold Coast. And over these past 3 or 4 days, there's been over 140 lanes of bowling, and we're very privileged to be here to honor and respect the military and for their service. And we just want to also recognize the sponsors that make all this possible. Southern New Hampshire University, Online University, K&K Bowling Services, Edelman Financial. I can't do Harry Carey like Randy, but Budweiser, the king of beers. Jim Beam, Enterprise Rental Car, Bowlers Journal International, Counts Customs, which we're going to hook Randy up with that tattoo. We haven't forgot about that. Turbo 2-in-1 grips, and also Storm Products. So we're proud to be members of their organization, and very proud to be involved with the Chrisman family that started and founded that company. So welcome back to the military bowling.
And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Hey, look at the lady out on the gutter cap.
And just to catch up here in the chat, English, we are not streaming the sweeper. We're going to go down at 7 here and get packed up because there's some other things we have to attend to. Also, just wanted to reach out. Dan Boyer has 747 going into the 4th game. 1,000 is within reach. And I think we're caught up here on the chat.
Before we get away, we just want to thank everyone that's participated in the chat over the last 3 days and taken time for the shout-outs. And just also want to recognize that there's been a lot of impact from around the world. We've had people checking in with us that have been listening in and let us know from Germany, from the United Kingdom, several bases in the United Kingdom, from Denmark, from Spain, from Guam, from Alaska, Hawaii, and many of the 48 contiguous United States. We just want to say thank you very much. We're greatly appreciative, and we just like to know that you enjoy us bringing this content and this experience to you. So for those of you who couldn't be here, that you can participate and be part of it. And I think I can speak very openly for Tim Mack and Bob Hart and Lee Up and our whole crew here with Randy Pedersen and Mike Flanagan and myself. We've been very privileged and blessed to be part of this event, and I can't tell you how many people that don't really know me from Adam's House Cat. This is, hey, thanks for being here. We really appreciate you guys being here and bringing the message and supporting us. And we just can't tell them enough how much we love supporting them, being in the military. And I will tell you, it'll be a long time before I forget that piece that Mike did earlier with Lee Greenwood. That's what it's all about.
Amen, brother.
Well, I appreciate you guys dedicating your time to be part of this live streaming event here. Doing it by myself would be absolutely impossible.
Hey, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, Mike. And we've been kidding around and joking around, and we've been talking bowling and recognizing a lot of the stories, and we wish we could get to every story that's out there. And there are a million storylines and people and their commitments to what they do. We'd love to do more, but Mike, I tell you, you've done a great job. I'm proud to be your teammate. I know Randy feels the same way, and Timmy Mack, and we've it's like Randy said earlier. Can't believe we're getting paid to do this. This is fun. This is the reason why we're glad to be involved in bowling and with people like these military bowlers as well.
I've got the greatest job in the world. I get to work with my buddies every day.
Can't beat that, my friend. I agree with you. Amen.
Yeah, and I also got to say, if you're enjoying this coverage this weekend, beginning on Saturday, it's the Fusion Realtors Open live from Waterloo, Iowa. My other team from St. Louis will be up there. Ricky Matsko, Matt Turek, Jeff Riggles will also be on the broadcast. This weekend, Inside Bowling, Waterloo, Iowa, will be there live streaming the Fusion Realtors Open. Joe Engelkiss and his team do a great job up there. I'm really looking forward to watching that event.
And tell them they better step up and do as great a job as Mike and Randy and Timmy did. challenge them to bring it one time.
You're doing a pretty damn good job yourself, Wes.
Just hanging in there, my friend.
Listen, we talked about you coming on with us earlier today, and I said, that's a welcome sight because Wes is a great conversationalist.
Yes.
He never runs out of things to talk about, and he's a good listen.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Unlike some other people I've worked with in the booth.
I just think there's so many experiences and stories that all of us like to share with the people that are bowling here, that there's a lot of commonalities, and we realize we're very fortunate to be in a sport and a profession that we love to do, that we're passionate about.
I agree,
and I think that's one of the keys.
I got a great story for you, a great PBA story that I'm going to tell you guys here in about 2 or 3 minutes. I got a little business to take care of real quick. Give me about 2 or 3 minutes.
So Randy will be back after the break. Channeling our inner Ryan Seacrest.
Hang on, I inadvertently hit the volume button and killed my mic. Give me 1 second, folks. I'll be right with you. No, they're for those guys. Hang
Randy's having some interaction with some of the bowlers here, and that's the interesting thing. You know, from people asking for selfies and shout outs to their family and friends and loved ones, and we've had so many people on the chat and the stream say, hey, can you possibly get over and let me see my particular significant other or my friend or my buddies, and they're bowling in this lane and that lane. And Mike has done yeoman's duty with the roving robo camera to try to do his best, absolute best, for us to get as many people on as humanly possible. So thank you for your patience and understanding, and we're gonna keep working to do better. And if you have some comments about what we do and anything we can do to improve it, where do you want them to send a comment, Mike? We appreciate any feedback.
Facebook, Inside Bowling Facebook page is a good one. Send a comment that way. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And, you know, we might have some heroics here at the end of the day. We've got front 7 down on lanes 11 and 12, so never know.
Yeah, we're kind of looking around. There's, like we've seen in other days, that first game, there's been a lot of strings of strikes. Game 2's been a little bit, transitional. Then games 3 and 4, we've seen that scoring pace pick up, and that's exactly what we're beginning to see here again. We're seeing quite a few of the strikes, like Mike said, over on, over on lanes 11. Lanes 11 and 12. We've got a gentleman with the first 8 in a row. We're going to try to see what we can do to give you some more information about who that bowler is and what's going on.
It's David Gully.
David Gully. That name sounds familiar from earlier this week.
Where did Flanagan go?
He went right over here to lanes 11 and 12 to check out the gentleman with the first 8 in a row.
How come he doesn't have RoboCam?
Because I think RoboCam might have.
Is RoboCam out?
No, yeah. RoboCam's good.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my PBA story.
Okay.
So I'm bowling a tournament. Back when I was a younger man, I had that real deep knee bend. Remember how good my legs were underneath me and whatnot?
Absolutely.
A few pounds lighter, legs were in good shape, younger. And it's the night block. And remember back in the day, Harry Golden would work the early blocks. Mm-hmm. He'd work the morning and afternoon shift.
Right.
And Smitty, Harry the Tiger Smith, would work the noon shift and the 7 o'clock shift.
That's right.
Well, when Smitty started the 7 o'clock shift and got us on the floor, Smitty would go into the lounge and start to partake. And by the time the squad ended, well, Smitty was still in the bar.
Yes.
Half crocked.
Yes.
So, bowling this tournament, it's the night block. It's probably game 3 in a 6-game block, or game 2 rather, and I noticed my pants are starting to rip. Mm-hmm. And it's starting from the base of the crotch, or the bottom of the zipper.
Gotcha.
And it's running down the side of my leg. And it starts off as a little tear. And with each shot thrown, the tear continues down my leg. I tried taping it, didn't work. And with each shot, more and more. The next thing you know, I've got my pant legs flapping open, and the tear is now from the center of my crotch down to my knee. So we call Smitty over. And you know Harry, and he comes over, and the way Smitty used to talk, yeah, babes, what's wrong, babes?
Yeah.
And I said, Smitty.
Little hair carrying there.
Hey, guys, I got David Gully here on lane 12. You could switch the camera. He's on the front 8.
Well, I would, but I just lost you. Battery low.
You got to be kidding.
You got him. You just had him there a second ago.
Yeah, you got a low battery.
Oh, you went high flush. He tripped the 4 out late.
Oh,
so he's got
good
the front,
grief.
He's got the front 9.
So anyway, Smitty comes down and he says, yeah, babes, what's wrong? And I said, Smitty, look at my pants. And he goes, are you wearing drawers? And I said, yes. And he goes, keep striking, babes, and goes back to the bar.
That's the Tiger. That's Smitty. Friend to
he was a beaut, wasn't he?
Friend to many. I'll tell you what.
How could you not love Smitty?
And he would, and whenever he wanted to share a story with you, he wanted to make sure he had your undivided attention.
Oh yeah, and he'd grab you.
Arm around your.
Oh, he'd grab you.
Arm around your shoulder.
And he was strong. He had strong hands.
Or he would grab you by the arm.
Oh yeah.
And he want to make sure, and he would lean into your face.
Oh yeah.
To make absolutely sure that you knew. I mean this nicely. He wanted you to get the joke or the story.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever it was he was talking about. And what a passion.
Yeah.
Man, that guy. What a passionate bowler.
Those were the good old days on tour, man. It was just such a joy and such a blast to be out there then. I mean, I wasn't out there in the 70s, but I was out there in the 80s and 90s. and the 80s were probably some of the best times of my life. It was unbelievable.
Oh, I was out there with you in the 80s, and earlier this week we talked about Guppy Troop and a few of the characters and people that were around that we had survived bowling the tour or rooming with or what have you, and it was different back then. I mean, now it's a little bit more of a sprint. Back then it was a marathon, 42 to 56 games a week, not counting practice, pro-ams, everything else. The amount of bowling and the physical shape you had to be in was totally different. They did the lanes once in the morning, and that's what you bowled on. Both of the, for whatever number of games was that day.
Agreed.
Because we talked about now how different the technology is.
Yeah.
Of going in and redoing the lanes, and everybody's bowling on fresh at the beginning.
Yeah.
And trying to make it as fair and competitive as possible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but that was fun. I'd like to see how some of these guys would do now. Insofar as if they would have, bowled some of those events or tournaments, and even on some of those patterns and some of those balls, it'd really be interesting to see how some of these players, if you went retro and kind of went the other direction.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I finally got this thing working. I mean, my mic started flashing. The batteries are going low. The camera started flashing. The batteries are going low. It's been a long 3 days, and the equipment's starting to tell us it's about time to go off the air. So we've got enough charge to get through the end of this half a game here.
Hey, let's go out with a bang and a perfect game.
I'm telling you. I think we're going to do it.
Next 5.
I think I'm picking up radio frequencies.
No,
from
actually,
truckers.
No, actually, that was the steel plate in my head. It was reflecting the sound from Wes's brain as to what he was thinking.
I just heard County Mountie, so I'm picking up Canadian things.
No,
I thought it was crickets.
That was Wes. He was just thinking it, and then the metal plate in my head actually picked it up.
All right, guys, here we go. Fast and Furious.
Here we go.
David Gully.
All right, there you go.
Front 9.
Ladies and gentlemen tuning in, if you're just joining us, hopefully a 300 game. Yes, baby, he's running it out. Love it. Look at that.
Great shot. And notice he stayed composed.
Look at that silver-haired devil.
Absolutely. There you go.
God bless him.
625 coming in.
Hey, Wes, you and I, if our hair ever gets to be that gray and we're able to shoot 300, buddy, it's going to be a great day.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Heck, I'd take 300 for 2 games.
I've seen you bowl. You're way better than that. Come on.
He got that one off his hand pretty good.
Looked a little
slow.
soft.
Got a little slow. 3, 4, 6, 7.
A little soft.
Yeah, 3, 4, 6, 7.
He wanted it.
Yeah.
The black cloud got him again.
Yep, look at this crowd, folks. Look at the crowd.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been standing room only on the concourse for all the squads all day, every day. It's
awesome.
Terrific. The support they have for one another, competitor or teammate alike, is hey, it's unparalleled in anything I've seen.
We got some strings over here on 13 and 14. We'll keep an eye on it.
Randy, you got to give us one more Harry carry. Can you maybe have Harry maybe run through a few of these?
It's more Will Ferrell doing Harry Carey.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like the Bill Braskies that I don't know if you ever saw the Bill Braskies.
No.
To Bill Brasky. And, they'd all be sitting in the Chicago bar drunk, and they'd be toasting a guy that passed,
You mean like Ditka?
Yeah, that was pretty good, actually. To Bill Brasky. He slept with all of our wives, and we loved him for it. To Bill, and they'd toast. It was pretty good stuff.
That is funny.
We've got a lot of strikes going on over here. But on the Harry Carey side, I just remember, Will Ferrell, who's one of my favorite all-time comedic actors, doing him on Saturday Night Live. And hey, Wes, let me ask you a question. If the moon were made of green cheese, would you take a bite? I know I would. I'd lather it up with some spicy brown mustard, and I'd wash it back with an ice-cold Budweiser. That's what I'd do. Hey, Mike. And he would always do that skit with Norm Macdonald.
Yes.
in the weekend update booth, and it was great. He had the big glasses, and it was hysterical.
Yeah. Just one thing to remember.
Yeah?
Need more cowbell.
We need more cowbell. Who can forget the Christopher Walken Blue Oyster Cult? And Will Ferrell. He's banging on the cowbell, and he's wearing like that sweater with the elastic band, and it starts riding up his belly. And he's got like a manhole for a belly button.
He didn't just have a muffin top. It was
that's full on man muffin top right there. That's scary stuff.
Yeah, that's funny.
As the folks that are still with us can tell, we're getting close to the witching hour of our broadcast. Mike Flanagan, fried. He's been here for 3 days doing this. I'm already fricasseed. I've only been here 1 day. Wes, I think Wes can keep doing this, to be honest with you. I think if we shut down right now, Wes would have no problem. He's like the ever-ready bunny.
As Mike would say earlier, just carry on, wayward son. Because Mike was coming in with the good pop culture rock song references, and he was quite challenging to keep up with. But bear in mind, I've only been here for the last few hours, so
Hey, push the little daisies and make them come up. Whatever you got to do.
Courtesy of Cabo Wabo Cantina last night. The food, not the beverage. But anyhow,
I've got
live and well and hanging in here with you lads.
This sums up what's going on here. Look at our scoreboard. Look at how crooked and messed up this scoreboard is. That basically sums up where we're at in this tournament. It's all crooked.
Kind of tilted?
Oh yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's like late in the game.
It's a tilted kilt.
Tilted kilt.
Tilted kilt.
We lost one
We
lost one of our 6-baggers over there. We do have 2, 4, 6, 7-bagger on 13 and 14.
Yes, we do. The Army team. Wall Jr., who we went down and covered earlier, he had a bunch going earlier. He shot 721 to open up. Still got 300 left and get to 1021.
Well, Terry Rohr was checking in, and he does not believe that I'm wearing the bowling socks. And yes, I am wearing the authentic bowling socks.
Well, Terry, Wes isn't wearing any pants either. Film at 11. Do you remember the old Kentucky Fried Movie? Back when the Rams played in L.A.?
It's been a long time ago.
It is a long time.
There's a newsman.
Picture show.
There's a newsman sitting at the desk. Rams plagued with fumbles while earthquake rocks Los Angeles. Films at 11.
Do you guys remember the movie Ski Patrol?
Vaguely. I
remember the band Ski Patrol. They opened for U2 on a couple of tours.
There was a band named
Snow Patrol. Sorry about that.
You ever heard of a band called Oasis?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Champagne Supernova. That's what I feel like right about now.
That's you.
Yeah. Now, I'm not really sure what a Champagne Supernova is. Can you, maybe give me a little insight as to what that is? What's a Champagne Supernova?
Maybe an exploding champagne bottle.
Okay. That's kind of how I feel right now.
Supernova, like an exploding star.
Okay.
Exploding champagne bottle.
Exploding champagne bottle. Got it. All right. The last thing I'm going to ask you guys, because our broadcast is nearing the end, but if you could be any animal in the world, what would it be? Mike Flanagan.
Any animal?
Yes.
This is a family show, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to be a killer whale.
You would be a killer whale? So you could be caught and put into SeaWorld? Have you not seen the show Blackfish?
I have seen that.
Is that not the most disturbing thing ever? I used to love going to SeaWorld until I saw Blackfish.
Yeah, me too.
I will never go back.
Yeah.
So cruel. Okay, so you would be a killer whale.
Yep.
That's pretty majestic. I'll have you know, that's pretty majestic. Wes?
Well, this is the guy who wants to be a lead singer, too.
You know, he's like
the lead singer, killer whale.
He's a very creative dude.
Yes.
You and I, not so much.
If I could be any animal.
Any animal.
Keith Richards.
Perfect. I'd be Keith Richards. All right, no, seriously,
Okay.
one animal, any animal.
Just because I like King Julian, I'd be like a marmot.
A what?
Well, or a penguin. I'd be a penguin. I can't fly.
Penguin.
Yeah, why the hell not?
All right.
Cool, you're black and white, you got it going on.
All right, you're always wearing a tuxedo. I get it.
Yeah, or you got to be that marmot, whatever that King Julian character is.
Yeah.
It could be something crafty like that.
I
have to be small and stealth and quick and
I still
witty and
I kind of like
begging for my life every day from the bigger animals. Hey, I'll help you with those thorns. Just don't kill me today.
I'm not sure there's a. God, I think Flanagan probably took the best choice of all. I was, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking cheetah.
That's a good one.
But
yeah,
now I'm not so sure. I think he's got the best one.
Maybe a dolphin.
Dolphins get eaten though sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
You know what I would be?
What would you be?
I would be a beluga whale.
Beluga whale.
Yeah, you know, and I'll tell you why. When I used to swim in the pool with my kids when they were little, in Florida we'd have these nice tan lines. And so what you did was you told the kids, hey, watch, I'm going to show you something. And then you pulled your shorts down just enough to show your crack, and then you yelled beluga whale and you surfaced.
Okay.
And that was beluga whale.
I bet you played Marco Polo, too.
That was beluga whale.
Here's why I picked the killer whale.
Oh, because they live a long time.
Yes.
You know what? If you watched Blackfish, do you know what it said? That they said they live like 25 to 30 years in captivity, that they live much longer.
Yeah.
And out in the wild, they could live up to 80 years.
80 years.
And you'll never see a dorsal fin caving over in the wild, ever.
Yeah. That's why I picked it, because I want to live for a long time.
I think that's probably
You're very deep.
I think that's probably the most majestic animal you could pick. Seriously. And if you didn't pick it, is it too late for me to change my mind and say I want to be a killer whale too?
No.
Because for a number of reasons. One, I want to live a long time, but two, I want to be in your pod.
All right. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, and they don't fight each other either.
No, they don't.
And if anybody messes with them, they've
it's on.
Yeah, they've pretty much got an insurance policy on
Yeah,
themselves.
it's on like Donkey Kong.
I think they can even get shot and they still are alive.
Wow.
Really?
That's pretty impressive.
So if they were swimming through, the wrong part of Detroit or something, we could still make it. Whereas we couldn't. I'd probably rather be a killer whale than myself. Be safer.
Well, just finishing up on some of the lanes, the All-Army team down on 13 and 14, Thomas Wall, can spare here on lane 13, spare the 10-pin strikeout for 257, which would give him a really, really strong 900 series in the upper 960s and 70s based on how he finishes out. We're kind of looking at the same thing for Chris Shaw over here on 17-18 on one of our feature pairs. He's up on lane 17 right now. But
I think a goofy things, guys, like could you imagine if the ocean was kind of like the rest of the world? Like you had to, like there was like a president of the ocean, and there was like, there were like bad areas that you don't want to swim through, and there were gangs, and they had their own news network and stuff, and like all the animals were like the newscasters, and they had sports. Where they're swimming around buoys and stuff. And
hey, Mike,
are
you high?
It's the Shamu 500.
Did you try?
I'm Daryl Waltrip.
Oh my
I'm
God!
Shamu Waltrip here with Shamu Earnhardt Jr.
Flanagan dropped acid.
We all live in a yellow submarine.
You know what I mean?
I am the walrus. Cuckoo-ca-choo. That's 2 days in a row we've been able to work that
Wow.
Can imagine that.
Holy cow.
That would be rather interesting.
And they have their own movies and stuff, and they've got, these shellfish or like big superstars, and they have like entourage, and they're gambling at casinos underwater. How about Debbie Simon? Debbie Simon says, hey, everybody, last game, how about a six-pack?
There you go. That's right. She's going for 7 right now.
She's going for the ham turkey dinner.
That's it.
Oh, look at that ball.
Oh, good try, Debbie.
Yeah.
Do you think the gals are intimidated at all by bowling next to the men?
I don't think so.
No, not a bit.
They're not. You know
Not a
why?
bit. Not a bit.
Because they're military.
They're out there to have a good time, enjoy themselves, and
Right.
that's it. They've been staying to business. You know, they're down in the bowlers area. You know,
Look how much more professional they are. They're drinking waters, bottled waters. The guys, not so much.
Hey, let me ask you guys this. I'm not even going to ask if you've seen the movie because I know you both have seen them. So I'm going to start with Wes, then Randy, then I'll go last. You have to be a character in Police Academy.
oh my
Which
God.
character are you?
Oh my God. Late great Bubba Smith.
Okay, Hightower.
Hightower.
It'd be the only time I'd ever be able to be that size.
Okay,
Hightower. I would want to be Winslow.
okay. I would want to be Commandad Lassard.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Okay.
You're reaching back for one there, my friend.
What did you call him?
Commandad Lassard.
Commandad?
Yeah.
Hey, same thing. We've all seen
Is that
this
a
movie.
word?
Yeah.
I'll throw another one out here for you.
Okay.
If you could be any character in the movie Animal House,
Oh, there's no. There's well.
it's like
there-
a slam dunk.
There's two
We're,
guys.
we're, we're all going to be the same one.
No, there's two guys I would want to be,
Yeah.
but I don't want people to get the wrong impression of me. So I just want to be Otter.
That would be mine also.
Hey, was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? No,
Hey, he's on a roll. Just let him keep going.
and it's not over now.
See, now I would be Bluta Blaskarsky.
You'd be Blutarsky.
Because you see, that's so that would be I would get to
He was my
exercise my inner demon there.
He was my second choice.
That's my guy. When he stands there and he's listening to the guitar and he smashes it against the wall.
I gave my love a cherry that had no stone. Something like that. I don't know. Jeez. Mike?
I'd pick the same one you did, Otter. I've only seen the movie once. I don't know it well enough to really get
Once?
in depth about it. Yep.
Wow.
Showing my age.
All right. If you.
How about
could-
968
Character in
for
a movie.
Christopher Shaw right here in front of us? Nice job, Chris.
Yeah, very nice bowling.
968.
Great bowling. Great bowling. Great bowling even with all the distractions going on around him. Nice bowling.
All right. If you could be one character in the movie Caddyshack, Mike,
The Gopher.
Wes,
The Cinderella story.
you would be.
I would do the Bill Murray.
You'd be Carl Carl Spangler.
I would have to do that.
What was his name?
Yeah.
Spackler?
Yeah.
Carl Spackler.
That I would have to be Carl.
I would have to be Chevy Chase, the golf pro.
Yeah. Be the
Favorite vacation movie?
I only saw like the first one.
Yeah.
I saw the one. I vaguely remember the one with Christy Brinkley.
I vaguely remember the Vegas one.
Oh, Wally World. I remember Wally World
Yeah.
too.
Well, the first one had Christy Brinkley in it and Wally World.
Yeah.
So that's the one I remember then.
Christmas Vacation, you know that one?
Randy Quaid briefly.
There he goes. Late falling 7 pin on 16. Giving a little double there to Tom Borden.
Favorite B actor movie? John Stamos. We were supposed to do that together. Never mind. Yeah, it was from the movie Step Brothers. Thank you. Just another movie reference. Favorite magazine? Good Housekeeping Seal.
I've actually got a magazine problem right now. I go to this website called slickdeals.net, and they offer these deals where you can get like Rolling Stone magazine for $5 for the year. You can get,
What?
all these different
I'm writing
ESPN
this
the
one down.
magazine.
I'm writing
for
this one down.
$3 a year. So right now I've got People coming to my house. I've got ESPN. I got Sports Illustrated. I've got consumer products, consumer electronics.
It's
or
called
whatever.
what?
Slickdeals.net. They have magazine subscriptions all the time. It's not only magazine subscriptions. They have all kinds of different sorts of things. They have an app too. It's unbelievable.
So you like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's unreal. Just all these magazines that can come into the house. I've got Maxim. I mean, I've got them all. They're like $3 for a year, and I can't say no.
$3 for a year because nobody reads anymore.
I know.
I mean, well, they read, but they just don't read a magazine.
And they stack up, and they end up being all over my house, and Kim says, I'm throwing them away. And I'm like, no, I'm going to read that. And then I get, like, Game Informer from freaking, you know, GameStop and all these different things. And, you know, I don't ever read them. It's a complete waste. I don't know why I do it. I'm a loser.
Guys, we're getting close to the end of our broadcast.
We're coming down to it.
It's been a great time with you guys, and a great time with Mike Flanagan and Wes Pye. What? Yeah, as soon as we're done.
Hey, Richard, I'm taking her out tomorrow night. She's going to go to that show that you don't want to go to.
People are just having a great time, having some adult bevies, finishing up their bowling. There's only another day left, isn't there, in this event?
Yep.
Folks,
Wednesday night in Las Vegas.
Are you guys going to the Gold Coast tomorrow?
I am.
Randy, I'm gonna need your help tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I got to take do some interviews over there.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning, so I could use your help on that.
You got it.
I'll probably be the camera guy, and I'll let you do the interviews.
That's
probably.
fine. I looked at my schedule. It says I start at 10.
There you go.
I'm hoping.
So are they finished
I'm hoping
here?
your schedule says the same thing.
I'd prefer to get going around 9 because I got to drive home tomorrow, but
that's fine, buddy. Anything for you, you know that.
Appreciate it. How about Debbie here? 246 possible score. We got the last 4 over here so far by Tamara. Does that say Tamara?
Yes.
Look at that.
Tamara Gleckner.
Nice shot out there.
Tamara Gleckner can strike here for 202.
She's looking for the Yahtzee.
Yep.
Look at that.
201.
It's pretty decent.
Well, guys,
she bowls 750.
I just want to say thank you. It's been a lot of fun. I know we got a few more things we'll do before we sign off, but personally, I just want to say thanks for letting me tag along and be part of the Merry Band here, and much appreciated. A lot of fun.
Thanks, Wes. I'll tell you what, when I used to go bowl youth tournaments, when I was 17, 18 years old, 16, whatnot, riding with buddies, and I'd go, we'd drive 8 hours to get somewhere, and you try to make the finals, and then you stick around, you root for your friends or people you traveled with when they make it, or you made it, or whatever happened, and you meet the different people, the Brian Hatchers of the world, the Chris Jones of the world, the Derek Oafs of the world, the Bill O'Neills, the Mike Fagans. Those are all the guys I bowled with. And you'd all leave, and then you go back to your town. And I got really sad when the tournament would end, and you were lugging your bowling balls out to the car, and you were hugging everybody goodbye. Yep. And I get the same freaking feeling every time we come down to the end of a broadcast, because you tear everything down, and it's over, and there is no more covering an event. And I feel the same way every time about right now as I did when I went to those bowling tournaments.
Yep. And, and that's the feeling these military personnel are going to have, too.
Yep.
Because they're going to have seen their friends and spent some time with them and had some laughs and, shared some good times and some stories. And then they're going to be departing and going on their ways around the world.
Yeah, when they're working on a plane or they're designing some software or, God forbid, they're out in the middle of combat, and they close their eyes and they think of the last good time they had, the last time they really enjoyed themselves. They bring themselves back to this moment, when they were here.
Yep, that's right.
When they could have that one shot back because they had the front 10 and the camera was on them, and man, if I would have just made a better shot, I'd have liked to have done that, or whatever it may have been,
Right.
Let's hear it for the ladies over there making history. All ladies. They entered the event as a team, bowled each day together, bowling doubles today. Very respectable games. Very cool.
Yeah, before we sign off, let's just give one more shout out to our sponsors, because without their support and everything, this wouldn't be possible. Very, very proud. I know Mike and Randy and I all feel the same way to have Storm Products affiliated with the 2015 Military Championships, and just being able to do a little small part we can to show support. Turbo 2-in-1 grips, Counts Customs, Bowlers Journal International, Enterprise Rental Car, Jim Beam,
Budweiser,
Edelman Financial, K&K Bowling Services, Southern New Hampshire, and once again,
Budweiser.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks again. We appreciate it. Thanks for all the support of these sponsors. And if we didn't mention you enough, we'll certainly make sure we mention you enough next time. And please go to their websites or call them up and say, hey, we heard about your support of the military championships, and we want you guys to keep doing that. Keep doing the good stuff and keep supporting the good causes, and let us know we're moving in the right direction. Let these other sponsors that we've talked about who make it an event, just not a tournament, but make it an event.
Hey, guys, let's bring it in here. Final closing statements here. Doubles today, 3 squads in the books, full house. We saw singles yesterday. We saw a team event the day before. 27 hours of coverage this year. First time at the military for me. I know you guys have both been here before. I've really enjoyed myself. Just can't say enough about how great these people are here, and really appreciate all that they do to defend our country.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments, and just a great time, and great people, some really good bowling, and great to work with you two. So, hey, where can I sign up to do this again? Thanks, guys.
Hey, I'm very grateful. The Lee Greenwood piece you put together, I think that sums it up.
Yeah, so good times. I want to thank you for watching the last 3 days and watching all our archives on YouTube. We'll have all that up by the end of the weekend, I promise. A lot of work goes into that, but I'll have it up, no problem. If you're looking for future broadcasts, Randy and I each year do this thing called the InsideBowling.com Open the last weekend in April. We've worked with Brad Edelman on events. I don't know if we'll be doing the August military or not, but we very well could be. Brad picks a couple of events a year, and we'd like to do it if we can. Also, this weekend, if you're looking for more coverage from InsideBowling.com, my comrades back in St. Louis will be hosting the Fusion Realtors Open Tournament that Joe Engelkis and the Greater Iowa Bowling Association runs. And they give back so much money to bowling, and they acquire sponsors from the Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's a great event to go bowl. You'll see a lot of PBA superstars participating in that event, and local heroes as well. Great crew up there. And then also, don't forget, if you're in Las Vegas, come bowl a few games at the Orleans or the Gold Coast and all these great properties, and make sure you go spend some money in their casinos, because they give back to bowling too. So for Wes Pye, Randy Pedersen, and myself, thank you for watching all weekend. Thank you for tuning in to InsideBowling.com. Support the sponsors. And that's going to be it from Las Vegas this year. Good night, everybody.